listening to International Sports Sound live from the Cologne Stadium on what is a huge night for our national side. Steve Clarke's team have to bounce back from Friday night's humiliation in Munich. We've since heard from the manager and his players promising that things will be better. Tonight, they quite simply have to be. No more words, it's time for action.
Scotland at Euro 2024 lives here. Germany versus Scotland.
Scotland's big night has ended in a hellish defeat here in Bavaria. Scotland are in a rut, and it's the worst possible start to their Group A campaign for Steve Clarke's men.
Difficult night. Obviously we didn't play to our standard. We're a better team than that, and hopefully we can show that in the next two games.
They've still got it in their hands to come through a group for the first time of asking when they go to take on Switzerland and Hungary. We shall see.
We need 4 points from the next two games, and that's what we focus on.
Scotland versus Switzerland.
Difficult opponent, expect a difficult game.
Comes out to Ebischer at the edge of the box, plays it onto the right foot, curls one, it's a beauty from Ebischer.
On Wednesday you'll see a different Scotland team, and probably a team with a point to prove to ourselves more than anything else.
And when they needed the late goal just to take a little bit of pressure off, they managed to do that as well.
Mistaken, and Mbolo's in, he's lost his boot, but he's lobbed the keeper and he's scored. Breel Mbolo puts the game beyond Hungary.
We want to try and show up the way we believe that we can, the way we believe that Scotland can play, and now we've got, two more chances to do that, to try and stay in this tournament.
Sports Sound at Euro 2024 live from Cologne.
Welcome to Sports Sound with me, Kenny McIntyre. The pressure very much on for Steve Clarke and his team, but they've shown us before they can deliver. They've got the players, they've got the class. My goodness, I hope you can hear the incredible atmosphere inside this stadium. We're really high up here, just behind the dugouts. The players have been out, they've had a look around. We've brought you the team news. Leanne Crichton, Stephen Thompson and Tom English are alongside me. We'll be joined very shortly by Scotland striker Lyndon Dykes, and Willie Miller is in the Aberdeen studio for us this evening. So Stephen Thompson, Leanne Crichton, give me your reaction to that team news we got just before the news.
Yeah, it's not really a massive surprise, is it? I mean, I think possibly could have changed anybody in that starting 11 from the game against Germany, but there was obviously going to be one swap for Porteous being suspended, and Hanley is his favoured centre half, you would have to say, of the ones that are possibly going to come in. And everybody's been talking about getting Billy Gilmour into the starting lineup. Many thought he should have started against the Germans, but he comes in at the expense of Christie, and he will play slightly deeper alongside McGregor. I thought he might have thought about changing up top. I thought he might have thought about changing at right back. But we know Steve Clarke by now that he doesn't make a lot of changes. He likes what he knows and trusts. But it's still a healthy looking Scotland team, especially in the middle of the park. And they've really got to perform tonight, because the performance level on Friday was nothing like us.
Yep, similar, Kenny. I agree with what Tomo says. Probably up top in the right wing back position for me. Not so much a concern up top, but I just think when you're looking at somebody that's had a strong season in terms of the goals that they scored, Lawrence Shankland would have been my preferred option, and I thought Anthony Ralston looked a shell of the player that we've probably seen a season or so ago playing for Celtic and performing really well. He's not had enough games this season. Going up against Germany was always going to be a tough ask, but it can go the other way in the fact that Steve Clarke has stood by him tonight. He's given him that vote of confidence. We've seen it in the past in terms of the last qualifier, the last tournament, Scotland went to Wembley and put in a really strong performance and almost kind of proved everybody wrong, albeit not quite getting the result that they'd hoped for. It's a strong team. I just hope that we get the response that we've all been searching for. We've been stewing for a number of days now. We're here. Everybody has come with a bit of optimism. Certainly not the same optimism as Friday night, but we've still got some.
Let's talk about that.
Well, I mean,
you get carried away when you're here, don't you?
You do. I mean, on Friday before the game, speaking to the fans, you were kind of almost convinced that something magic was about to happen. Quite the opposite ended up happening. And then even, everybody's obviously raging after the game over the weekend, and then into preparing for this game, you're chatting to fans again on the street or in the team or in the hotel or whatever, and there's this kind of optimism rising again from somewhere. I don't know why, but I'm quietly optimistic. I think because of when you're a player and you've had a bad game, and every one of them had a bad game, you want that next game really quickly to get it out your system and to prove a point. And John McGinn spoke about that in his press conference. These players all have a point to prove to themselves, to the country, because it was a major letdown. I do think tonight will be far more aggressive. I think against Germany we couldn't have been more passengers, if you like. Tonight I expect us to take the game to Switzerland. We can't be too adventurous because we don't want to be picked off, because at the end of the day this team have real quality. We saw that in the first half of the Hungary game. I expect a tough game, but I think it's a game we can get a result from. I'd love to see us winning it, but I think a point would be a great result to take into the Hungary game.
Let's knock that optimism firmly on the head. Seated just 2 chairs along to your left-hand side, Mr. Tom English is there. Tom, how do you rate our chances tonight?
Well, it depends on which version of the Scotland team turns up.
Yeah.
If we have the version of the Scotland team from last year, from March to September, when they went on 5 match winning run and they conceded 1 goal in 5 games, that team is good enough to win this game. The team that we've seen over the last 10 games I don't think is good enough to win this game. There's too much defensive weakness in the team, too many good players not playing well, and if that team turns up, I think they'll lose tonight.
Willie Miller is back in our Aberdeen studio. Good evening to you, Willie. Yeah. Great to have you on the programme. My goodness, you suffered alongside us on Friday evening. But we are full of optimism again, Willie. I'll tell you something. The scenes in this city over the past few days, in the stadium right now, absolutely magnificent. What are your thoughts, Willie, in the team news that Al brought us at the top of the programme?
Well, it looks as though everybody's having a party first and foremost. But unfortunately, the football is interrupting the party, isn't it? And I'm surprised that Tom hasn't chastised me for my over exuberance and optimism in Friday night, because I certainly
plenty of time for that, Willie.
I certainly deserved it, I'm telling you. I just could not see, Tom and guys, I could not see us playing as badly as that. I really couldn't, and just reflecting back on Friday night, I mean, there was nothing in that game that you could take out that was positive. The shape was poor, the individual performances were poor, the result was embarrassing. There was nothing, no shots in goal, and somehow managed to score a goal. That optimism that I had before the game, certainly, as Tom said, the last 10 games is misguided. And it's got to be a big turnaround. There's no doubt about that. We're getting into this game. I think it is a game we can get something out of, but we won't get anything out of it if we play the way we've been playing. And certainly, if we are as passive as we were against Germany. Just watch the Hungary game, and Hungary's managed to create 3-4 chances for themselves in a game. Yes. They get down 2-0. They certainly competed. Yes, Germany were the better team. But at least they competed. At least they get close to the Germans. At least they made it difficult for the home nation, and we simply didn't do that. So massive turnaround required tonight, and we can only hope. It's more hope than optimism I've got this evening.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat, Willie. Our reporter Jane Lewis is off to our right-hand side behind the goal there. Swiss fans there in their thousands. Jane, you've just witnessed something quite remarkable, something I'm sure we won't see at the opposite end of the ground tonight.
I have never seen the likes before, Kenny. The Swiss manager, Murat Yakin, came out of the tunnel, walked past the Switzerland fans, was geeing them up, was saying, come on, let's get behind our troops. They were absolutely lapping it up. It was brilliant. He walked all the way across the goal line, down towards the far end of where the fans are just going around that corner. Didn't quite fancy his chances to walk past the Scotland fans, I don't think. Made his way back up, past round the Swiss fans. I have to say, they could not get enough of this guy. That is the way to do it, isn't it? For good PR, my goodness. And the Swiss fans, I have to say, they're noisy, they're looking colourful. I'm not sure I'm in the right place sitting here right in front of them, I have to say. But listen, Kenny, when I look around, there's 1 or 2 wee pockets of Scotland fans, as you can imagine. Listen to the boos from this side as the Scotland team run out as well. And there's a little group of Swiss fans holding up a banner saying shoot the skirts away. That's their message to their team this evening. But yeah, that was brilliant from the Switzerland manager. That's how much it means to them, and I guess that's how to get the best out of your supporters. It was brilliant to see.
Yeah, the atmosphere is electric inside the stadiums. I look over to my left-hand side, flags there from Cullen, Hamilton, Larbert, Afford, Greenock. The fans are in here from all over Scotland, and as Jane said there are small pockets of the opposite fans in either side of the stadium. They're mixing really, really well, as they have done throughout the city for the past few days. So we are slowly edging towards kick-off here. Real excitement inside this stadium. Tom, you were down in among the Scotland squad. I think we were all quite critical on Friday evening with that post-match media conference from Steve Clarke. I felt he redeemed himself when he spoke with the media on Sunday. You also saw Callum McGregor speak on the Saturday.
Yeah, I did, Jack. Callum McGregor spoke very well. And then the following day, Steve Clarke, who wasn't scheduled, was supposed to be John Carver to come in, but the result was so catastrophic that Steve Clarke said he wasn't going to let John Carver do it, that he needed to front up. And he did front up. He took all the questions, just sat there, took them all. There were some tough questions, just from the broadcasters and then from the newspaper guys in a separate section. And it was a kind of a charm offensive for him. He had to do it, hold his hands up, apologise and all those things. But it's just words, you know, and he knows it. It's just like Callum McGregor spoke well, Clarke spoke well. It's words. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it does not matter what they say. It's what they do. And this is, I hope actually the Scotland players in the dressing room have a TV and they could see Yakin doing that, because you'd use that, wouldn't you?
It was terrific, wasn't it? I mean,
it was terrific. It was terrific. But if you're
a bit much, if I'm being honest.
You think so?
You weren't having it, Leanne.
I wasn't enjoying it. I thought it was a bit much, to be honest. I think he came out just to try and G up the fans before the players perhaps took to the pitch. But if I'm a player inside and I know my gaffer's out in the pitch giving it big licks like that, I'm probably mortified. If I'm being honest, the fans might have been enjoying it. But
it's a sign of confidence, I think, to go swaggering about like that.
You couldn't mark his neck with a blowtorch, to be fair. It was sensational.
That's why I'm hoping the Scotland lads looked at this, because you can flip that, you can use that. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Arrogant. I won't use the word I was about to use.
But he's got every right to be confident, Tomo, hasn't he? I listened to Sports Sound, the commentary on Saturday, and Rory was on there. Alongside Al, actually, and they were describing certainly that first half performance from Switzerland against Hungary as similar in terms of dominance to what we witnessed in the Friday night. They were very, very good, certainly in that opening 45.
They were. Sorry, I thought you said Tomo. Did you say Tom?
Tom was on.
Me or you?
Me, I'll take it. I'll take it. Tom. Yeah, I mean, the first half performance was outstanding. It really was incredibly dominant, and it did mirror the German performance against us. I think Hungary put in a better performance earlier on against Germany. All right, they didn't get anything from the game, but they certainly looked a stronger side than they did against the Swiss. Let's not make any mistake about it. Tonight it's going to be difficult. And you look at our last 10 results and you say, right, okay, we've taken beatings from England or France or the Netherlands, but we've also come up short against lesser opposition. This is a good team and a tournament team. This is their fifth major tournament in a row that they've qualified for, and they generally have got out the group stages in every one of those tournaments. So they know how to do it. They've got a team full of experienced players, top players. And it was interesting, Al, talking about Shaqiri coming in tonight. 123 caps, 31 goals. So they've got a team littered with stars and top players.
Yeah, we're just seeing Lyndon Dykes take it. We'll give you a minute. Lyndon's just come up the stairs. He's just joining as a Scotland striker here up with us tonight. We'd love to have him down on the pitch, no doubt at all about that. Lyndon, we're just about to talk about what the mood's been like, because it was such a blow for us all on Friday. You were in among the boys. How have they reacted over the past few days?
Yeah, obviously it was a disappointing game. Everyone could see that on the face of the boys, but back in camp they were just it was a big occasion, and obviously it wasn't the way it went and it wasn't supposed to go. But we've got great characters in there. You see, obviously, everyone knows what John McGinn's like. We've got great leaders in there, Robbo, Big Grant, Cooper, all captains of clubs. And after a few days, smiles are back on everyone's faces, and everyone just wanted to get back out there and prove a lot of people wrong, and also just get back on the pitch and just show the quality that they have, because they deserve to be here. And for a number of years now, we've been playing excellent football, but sometimes football can be cruel.
What was the manager like, Lyndon? We heard from him. He clearly was quite rattled after the game on Friday night. We get that. It was so disappointing for us all. But I thought he spoke very, very well on Sunday. He said, we have got a very good team of players here. We will bounce back. What's he been like in among the squad?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably difficult for him because it's been such a long time coming. He's been prepping for a lot of things, and obviously it just didn't go the way. So, yeah, fair enough to him. You know, he was angry after the game, and that's just part and parcel of being a manager. But he's always been great with us. You know, he's shown us the loyalty and just been a great guy and a great manager behind the scenes. So, you know, we analysed the game. He showed us what went wrong and what he thought, and discussions with players and all sorts of things. And, you know, he's just trying to improve us and obviously wanted to get back to this game, and he's changed a few things with the lineup and the way they want to do things. And, yeah, so nothing but the best of words for him.
Did you watch, as a team, live the Swiss-Hungary game and then later on go through and do the analysis on it?
No, obviously, we watched the video on the game, you know, a couple of days after. Obviously, things cooled down a little bit. Everyone sorted their heads, and then you know, they went through the things they wanted to go through and show the boys. But it was more about just putting it to bed and onto the next game. It's tournament football, and it wasn't over. So tonight, everyone wanted just to come out and, you know, change the way everyone was feeling after the first game. We all watched, you know, maybe not all of us, but there's a little cinema room back in camp, and most of the boys, you know, we watched all the games together, and we all just had a laugh and chill out with the boys, and we watched the game and we've seen how they played. But we have to focus on ourselves. If we turn up on the night, we can get the job done.
What on earth is it like for a player? We can hear the noise already building in here. It was amazing, wasn't it, in the stadium on Friday evening? I don't have much chance to. I know the players did a walkabout, I think, this morning. Yep. But the fans have been in terrific voice, haven't they?
The fans are just the best. It's one of the best feelings walking out, having that much support. Look at the numbers they travelled in. The first game was amazing, just obviously the feeling of it. Everyone was so happy. Even with the result, you know, the fans were just top notch. Couldn't blame any of them. You know, they're coming in numbers, and look at them now. You know, it's one of the best feelings coming out and just hearing the whole roar of everyone. And it just gives you that lift and that sense of pride, you know, coming to play for Scotland. And yeah, obviously the boys love it because it pushes them through games. Even the other night, you know, it was a disappointing result, but even when the ball went back in the net, all I could see was just beer just getting chucked all over the gaff. So, no, hopefully a few more goals tonight, and we get a few beers just chucking everywhere and everyone with a smile on their face.
Lyndon, what were the big takeaways from Friday night's game, and what should we expect tonight in terms of the Scotland performance? Can we expect a more aggressive start to the game, a bit more in the front foot?
Yeah, I mean, there might not have been that many takeaways from it, but I'm sure the manager took away something from it. But yeah, I think they're going to come out with a little bit more belief and a little bit more just up the tempo, get on the Swiss. Obviously, they've got great players at the back. Xhaka controlling the game in the midfield, and I think we just need to put a bit more pressure on them. So I'm sure the boys will come out, be more aggressive, make sure they can't play as much, and we have to work the goalkeeper more. You know, we have to just get our key players on the ball up higher, McGinn, McTominay, get Shea some chances up front, and we can score some goals and obviously make it hard for them.
Lyndon, when you know, you look at last year when you were on that lovely run of 5 games in a row, 1 goal conceded, the team had a lot of verve in it, a lot of belief. Not arrogance in a good way. You looked like a team that knew you were good, and you looked like you were enjoying it. I haven't seen much of that from this team recently. What's happened, do you think?
No, I think it's definitely still there. You know, we qualified early doors, so there's been a lot of things going on. Obviously, we had friendlies coming in there. The managers changed a lot of things, had different personnel playing, maybe more than others that changed. And obviously, you want to be winning games. We've been on such a great run for a long time, winning so many games, and then we've had a little bit of a slip, losing games here and there. But that's just football. We've got the quality in there, and everyone still believes it. You know, the first game was such a massive game. You know, it was the opening game of the Euros, back-to-back qualifications. Everyone wanted to be in the starting lineup. So I think just this didn't go our way. It's just part and parcel of football. I think football's a cruel game sometimes, and that's it. But what I know in this team is that we can turn it around quickly. We've done it before. look at the qualification game against Norway. I don't know how long was left on the game, about 5 minutes, and we turned that around quick. So I think the boys, we get a good result tonight, and everyone will be back on track, and we can definitely still make it out the group.
See, in terms of that good result, has there been a lot of chat within the group in terms of a point, for example, being the marker tonight? If we can take a point going into that final game, Hungary is where you would earmark the 3 points. I mean, it's difficult, I think, as any player to go and look to draw a game of football. I think we all play to win.
Yeah, I think the boys are going out there tonight to win. I think after the first game, they're disappointed. The fans have come in numbers. A lot of people are saying a lot of things, but they're coming out to win. They're going to push the pressure on the team, and they're coming for the 3 points. Obviously, everyone knows we want 4 points for the group to get out the group. And if it goes to be a draw, then it's a draw and they can focus on the next game. But I think tonight everyone's focused on the 3 points and they want to prove a lot of people wrong.
Has the manager spoken about starting the game well? Because obviously the Germany game did not start well. You could see the heads went down, the confidence drained out the side. It was visible to watch. It's so important to get a brighter start tonight. Has he emphasised that to the boys?
Yeah, I think he has. I think, like you said the other night, it just, from the get-go, it just didn't go right. But tonight they're going to put the pressure on and they're going to start early. They're going to, like you said, want to start quick, want to get pressure on the Swiss team, on their key players, and they want to be working the goalkeeper, getting a few off, early shots, early chances here and there, and just build the confidence. We've got the crowd in here on our back, and they'll definitely make us believe. And then when we're higher up on the pitch, that's when we can show our quality, and then everyone can keep pushing.
Willie Miller is with us. He's back in our Aberdeen studio. Willie, you were on that Saturday afternoon when Lyndon very kindly joined us on the programme. And Lyndon spoke a lot that day, particularly the help he got from the players, that club feel about it, the unity among the players, Willie. And they'll need that tonight, won't they? Because it has been a disappointing run of form. We hear all the time about confidence, momentum in sport. That's been missing from this Scotland team. They'll need to really have each other's backs tonight to get through this game against a very, very good Swiss side.
Kenny, sorry, we're having some technical problems.
Oh, no problem.
Here.
No problem.
The good news is I didn't catch 30 seconds of you there. So obviously the rest of the nation did, but I got the gist of it. I think you're talking, what the players...
the confidence, Willie.
What the players have to give. The players that they have got to put that game to the back of their mind. It's not going to be easy. They're going to have to live with it the rest of their career. But at the same time, you can't go about with their heads down, and I'm sure that hasn't been the case. I'm sure they have had a bit of fun in the camp, but I don't think that they can tell the nation that they've had a bit of fun. That wouldn't sound right on the back of that defeat. But you have, absolutely get focused on this game. But you've got to try and get over that one. A little bit of humour doesn't do any harm. You've then the manager can work with him. He's decided on. Well, one change that he's forced into making, another one that probably we all thought would have a bit more control in that midfield area. But yeah, I mean, they can't let the nation down again. They have got to, have a sparkling performance tonight. If they can get the result, if they can get a victory, absolutely wonderful. If they get, it's a must not lose game for us, isn't it? But you can't go out with that in mind. You've got to go out positive. I agree with Linda. You've got to go out and go for the 3 points.
I wonder, Lyndon, obviously these boys want it desperately, right? And I would imagine the atmosphere post the Germany game was pretty intense. Nobody's ever going to question their desire and their pride. But that can almost become a negative. Because you can want it too much, you try too hard, and you tie yourself up in knots. Was there any sign of that in training this week, that they're just trying too hard?
No, I don't think so. I think you've got to remember this is what everyone dreams of when you're a footballer, making major tournaments, and we've done it back to back. Obviously last time COVID was involved, so maybe this feeling for this one was a little bit different. And everyone's just so proud to be here, but as well, obviously Scotland's had a bit of ups and downs for a long time now, and everyone in the group, we all want to make history and they want to get out the group. So like you said, maybe there was a little bit of, desperate to do well, but I just think they're all proud to play for Scotland and they all want to get out the group and do the best they can every time. And the last game, it just didn't go the way they want. But if we get a result tonight, then everyone's going to speak differently.
How was Ryan Porteous after the game? Was he really dejected? Did he feel like he let the boys down? Did he apologise?
Yeah, I mean, it was really unfortunate, obviously, how he got the red card, obviously the sending off. But, you know, he was totally gutted. The boys were around him. Look, that first game, we could go through a number of things. But for Porto, obviously, it was such disappointment for himself. You know, he didn't mean for that to happen, and it just happened. But for us as a team, we're so solid all together, and we're in it all together because we're all had our arms around him, and you know, he's always going to have our support, and that's the way it is. But we didn't lose because he got sent off. It started from the start, and he knows that, and we've all got his back through the whole time.
What about your place in the team, Lyndon, in terms of being there and in and around the group? It must be nice to be part of it, but so frustrating in the same side to be unable to really affect it the way you would want to.
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice, obviously, to be out here with the boys and be in the camp with them, still just kind of be with them, enjoy the games and have a laugh and that. But obviously, I would rather be on the pitch with them, but you know, I'm not as loud as John McGinn and some of them, but I just try and, you know, just be the same as I would be if I was playing, you know, play a bit of cards with the boys, play a bit of games, you know, laugh around with them. Just kind of bring an Aussie accent to the team, you know, something a bit fresh. But I would rather be with them than be at home, because I feel like being with them is like a family. It's like club football that I've always mentioned before, and it's great to be with them. And yeah, obviously being at the game, sometimes it's a bit sad and I walk out and a bit gutted, but that's just the way it is.
Let's look then very quickly. Just give us one word if you can. We'll go down the team. So good guy, chancer, bad patter, great patter.
I don't think we're going to hear chancer.
Very, very serious, poor clobber, gun.
Daddy's boy.
Ralston.
Solid.
Robertson.
Leader.
McTominay.
Pretty boy.
Hanley.
Meathead.
Tierney.
Warrior.
McGinn.
Character.
McGregor.
Boring. He's going to hate me for that one.
we won't tell him. Adams.
Finisher.
Henry.
Loves his looks.
Gilmer.
Baller.
Listen, that was brilliant.
Sorry, Cal. Sorry. I'm going to be fuming with that one.
You're in such trouble when he hears about this. I'd be interested to hear what you felt your role was post the Germany game in the camp, Lyndon, because you're in there with them. Did you feel a responsibility to kind of try to get them out of themselves, to try and kind of lift the mood a bit?
Well, after the injury or before?
No, before, after the Germany game, when you're in there and everyone's down, everyone's maybe moping. Did you feel that a responsibility there to try and G them up a bit?
On a personal note, no, not really me. We've got big characters in the team, and we've got leaders in the team. Obviously, we've got captains of club football in there. You know, Hanley, Coops, Robbo, McGinn. Those kind of boys, they rub off on everyone else. So for my role, I was just to keep my head down. Obviously, it's been obviously I'm a little bit further out, not involved with the squad, not on the pitch, which obviously my role obviously would change maybe being on the pitch. I like to be that kind of physical leader, little bit of scariness when I shave the hair, you know, a bit of pride in there. So, you know, after that game, it was more about the team. It was more about the bond that we had and just kind of getting through it.
Have any of the boys tried to cut Austin McPhee's hair? Surely you just got a pair of scissors when he's on the bus not looking and a wee chop.
I mean, I'm surprised it hasn't come up, to be honest.
Tell Johnny's to do it.
I'll tell John.
Has to happen.
To be fair, it is getting quite long, isn't it? Maybe he should switch it up. Maybe he should come out with a baldy.
We did think for a minute in the Germany game that Steve Clark might have been the person to cut Austin McPhee's hair.
I'm glad you've gone there. I was wondering how to phrase that question. Did you see that reaction? Have you ever seen anything like that from the manager? Listen, he handled it really well in the press conference on Sunday. But had you ever seen anything like that from the manager where we go to Austin on the touchline? A different side that we saw, certainly.
Yeah, it was just frustrated, but
Austin was too busy. He was too busy in the touchline. I'm not surprised that Steve Clark had a pop at him.
No comment. I didn't say nothing.
Let you know, guys, it's just a pause from. Let's hear from the manager. He spoke a short time ago, Steve Clark, with a reporter, Ailey Barber.
Steve, 2 changes to your starting team tonight, 1 enforced. Talk us through the reasons behind the little switch in midfield.
It's almost my intention to start Billy in this game, and that's why he starts.
How difficult a build-up has it been to this game, getting over everything on Friday night and making sure these players are ready to go and do what they say they want to do and prove that they can compete on this big stage?
The only difference between any other games is it's a Friday, Wednesday build-up as opposed to normally a Saturday, Wednesday. So that's all. We do the same things, we work the same way, and tonight hopefully you see the real Scotland on the pitch.
Have there been little reminders to the players that the history that they can make and wanted to make when coming into this competition is still very much alive for them if they can get something tonight?
That hasn't been mentioned. What's been mentioned is we have to play better. We have to do better than we did in the first game. We believe that if we play to the best of our abilities, we'll get something from the game.
You can hear the Tartan Army out there supporting you again. Is there a different approach to this game, knowing that you need something from it?
No, you need something from every game you play. So we go to this game confident in our own ability, but desperate to show our own ability on the pitch. There's no negativity or worrying about what we have to do or what we might do. It's just go and play.
That's the manager, Stephen, speaking there a short time ago with Ailey Barber. I love when Lyndon described Billy Gilmour as a baller. He's a guy that I love to watch. Actually, it reminds me a bit of someone that you would have played alongside, perhaps Barry Ferguson, someone that'll take that ball in tight areas and demand it, make things happen.
Yeah, I think so. Barry, I think, had a better threat going forward. When Barry was at his best, he was an 8 and he was up and down, whereas Billy probably sits a wee bit deeper in the game. But his technical ability is frightening. Obviously, I've not seen him close up in training and stuff, but I can understand why Lyndon's calling him that. You can see that he's always wanting the ball, and I love that. But when he receives the ball, generally he's brilliant at finding space. And the top players always receive the ball with space, and he's brilliant to watch. I just hope he has a big impact tonight. A lot of folk wanted him to start in the Germany game. I can understand why we went with Christie, just to give us a bit more of a threat with the ball when driving forward, because I think he carries the ball ever so well. I think Christie's unlucky to lose out tonight, to not play, because for me he's been a brilliant performer. He's had a brilliant season at club level, and for Scotland I think recently he's been very good. He didn't have a good game against Germany, nobody did, but somebody had to go out the way for Billy Gilmour to come into the side, and unfortunately for Ryan Christie it was him.
You and Lyndon can tell us better than anyone just how tough that role is that Shea Adams has got tonight. When you're leading the line for Scotland, you guys have both done. I mean, Shea Adams really had next to nothing on Friday night to work off.
Horrible, innit?
Yeah, it's a tough role. Obviously, everyone knows the quality that Germany have in general. It's a tough role because you have to kind of give more defensive duties as you probably want to, but it's to help the team out in general. But yeah, like you said, the other night he didn't have much. We didn't really get up near the goal, to be honest.
Who's the best finisher? You can put yourself in this as well. Out the strikers in training, when you're doing the drills, who's hitting the target? Who's scoring the most out of the three of you? Be honest, brutally honest.
I'm going to put Shanks in there.
That's no surprise.
So I think Shanklin is top quality. That's probably his best quality. He's a natural finisher. But that's not to say that obviously myself and Shea as well, we've been in here for a number of times. We've both scored quite a few goals for Scotland now. So Shea's a great finisher as well, and he's got the pace and the power as well to help the team as well.
It's interesting because you all bring something different. You've all got your own qualities. I think a lot of people would have liked for you to have been starting the Germany game had you been fit, just to give us a bit more option with an outball, but we didn't even manage that in the game. It wasn't like when the balls were getting cleared from defensive areas, they weren't played up with any quality to Adams, so he couldn't do a single thing. I've played in matches like that, you'll have done the same, where you're camped in and somebody's launched one up at your head and you've got a 6'5" centre half just munching you. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's difficult. Like you said, I think we were just too deep in general, and obviously the ball's coming up to Shea, and like you would know as well, the ball's coming into you and you've got 3 defenders on you, and you have to take the best touch, hold the ball off, wrestle 2 of them, run around and still keep the ball. So it's a very, very hard task. So hopefully tonight we can get the ball up and bodies up high as well.
And Shanklin and McGinn, you've been obviously part of it. They've been told to get up, because you know how important it is when the ball does come up to you. You need to see faces, you need to see bodies, you need to see runners, somebody to pop the ball off to if you can, or just get anything on it. They've been told tonight they've got to get in contact with Shea Adams.
Yeah, I think so, and obviously that's why Billy's come in. He's going to help McGregor more in the middle of the pitch, control the ball, and then it gives maybe McGinn and McTominay a little bit more freedom to get up near Shea. Obviously, when the balls come up to Shea, you always need runners, like you're saying, and you always need support. So obviously, it might give a little bit more free roll to McTominay to get a little bit more of a goal threat, help with Shea, and then obviously McGinn as well to get higher up, because Billy can control the ball and help the defence out as well, and help Cal out in the midfield.
We can hear both sets of fans in great voice inside the stadium here. Just 20 minutes to go until kick-off. Can Scotland find the result, the performance tonight to really kickstart our Euro 2024 campaign? We heard from the fans, including Brian Graham, Lorraine Kelly, ahead of the game in Munich on Friday evening. They were predicting big things from the national team. Unfortunately, it didn't materialise. Let's hear how the fans are feeling about this one. Jane Lewis caught up with a few of them just a few minutes ago.
I think the guys were too excited on Friday, and I think tonight we're going to win, and we're going to play well. We're going to win 3-0.
Confident, maybe not so much. Hopefully, I'm hoping we can get the result. I think if we could get a draw, I think everybody would be quite happy with that. Then hopefully take it into the last game against Hungary. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
I think we're going to do it. We have to be positive. We're going to win. We're going to win.
Yeah. I don't think we can feel any worse than we did on Saturday morning, so we may as well just enjoy today.
As long as we can keep it tight, I think, from the start. If we can keep the ball a bit more compact, hopefully get into the second half, nick a winner, we'll be delighted.
Oh, I'm just happy to be here now. See, getting in the stadium, brilliant. But we'll be fine. 2 or 3. Score 2 or 3, they won't score. Have you seen Angus scoring goals? I don't think he's conceded since Friday. So we're all right. We'll be fine.
Oh, we don't need luck tonight. We're going to annihilate them. Right back.
Where's this confidence coming from?
Blind optimism. There's no way we can be as bad as we were the first night, and hopefully it'll all come together tonight. 4-0 at half time, or we'll all just go back to the pub.
The Scottish, they have nothing to lose now.
Do you fear that Scotland are going to be fired up after their poor performance against Germany?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
They will be running until the end, yes.
Yeah. After watching the Swiss game, I am worried though, because Switzerland looked pretty good. Listen, this is the last chance. Steve Clarke needs to go for it. If he doesn't go for it, if he plays the same formation with the same personnel, I don't think we'll do anything. But if he goes for it, I think we've got to get enough players.
You have to just calm down. They're a much better football team than they showed on Friday. But on Friday they were just too excited.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Too panicky. I think get Billy Gilmer in there. Yep. He'll keep the ball, he'll look after it. He'll spray it about left and right. We'll be alright tonight. We'll win 2-1. No bother.
Yeah, it was disappointing on Friday, but I think tonight's a different game. Middle game in our tournament. We generally do well in these games. Go back to Sweden in 1990. Look back to last Euros. England, we did well as well, so I'm reasonably confident we'll get a result. It's a decent side we're playing against. They've got pace up front, so I think Scotland, it'll be a tough game, but I'm confident we'll get a result.
We beat Spain last year, so...
Yeah, a lot of the Scotland fans there. Willie Miller is back in our Aberdeen studio. Willie, can't knock the confidence out of these fans. And I have to say, Willie, the atmosphere around this city over the past few days, I had the day off yesterday. I went a wee cruise down the Rhine. I had a nice quiet day. And
nice.
I'm on the boat. Well, I'm hearing this beat, 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 beat. And then you get closer, and I found that the Scots had just taken over this boat. They were singing up and down the Rhine. It was absolutely fantastic.
I heard Lyndon Dykes was driving it.
I wish. Honestly, the atmosphere, Willie, and they've mixed really, really well. A credit to the nation. They're off their left-hand side, the blue and the white, the red of the Swiss off their right-hand side. How are you feeling about this, Willie? We know the class this side's got. We've seen it with these big results in the qualifiers. They just need to refine that, don't they?
We do, Kenny, but before I get into that, did you have any Liebfraumilch on the boat?
not on my boat, unfortunately.
No, not your boat. A touch of the Blue Nun, if anybody's old enough to remember. I don't even know if they still make that wine. But anyway, it used to be back in the day. But back to the more serious stuff. And I'll tell you, Lyndon, you've handled them really well because there's some really difficult questions there, and you've answered them, in my opinion, too honestly. I think you're going to get a bit of ribbon when you get back to the camp. Listen, we've said all along that there is quality in the squad. We've been saying that for a number of years now, and there's no doubt about it. And when at the top of their game, they're a very dangerous team. Recently, they haven't been at the top of the game, and for all sorts of reasons. Friendlies thrown in there, different formations, different personnel, injuries as well that Steve Clarke's had to deal with. But that's all got to be put to the side or to the back of what's really important now. What's really important is a performance, and talk is cheap. Believe me, talk is cheap. But after the disappointing performance against Germany, you go back to the camp, you regroup, you believe in each other, and I'm sure that these players do believe in each other because they've got that to prove. Their campaign, their group campaign was outstanding. They come in here with a lot of optimism. We hope that they can bring the quality that they've got to the game tonight and get something out of the game. Whether it be a draw, 3 points would be absolutely magnificent, we know that, but a point keeps us with hope going into the last game. And if they do bring the quality that they've got, then I think they're capable of getting a result tonight. And I don't think that is being over-optimistic. I think that is reality, because they have proven in the past that they can deal with setbacks, and they have proven in the past how good they really are.
Yeah, no doubt at all about that. We'll look at the starting 11 and also the options that Steve Clarke has on the bench. What does the manager do, Lyndon, in terms of when he names a team? How does that work? Is it a couple of days before? And I guess the guys will know from the warm-up, the shape sessions that you do. So how does it work? And for, say, likes of Christie, who misses out tonight, who started the other night, would the manager have a quiet one-to-one word with him?
No, I think obviously we do a bit of shape work leading into the game. He swaps a little bit around to keep it to himself, and then obviously the day of the game he puts out the team in the team meeting. So yeah, we work throughout the week because obviously each game's different. We change the way he wants to do things, how he sees things, and what he wants us to work on for the next game. So we do see things throughout the week, but it always can change. I think Christie was obviously unfortunate. He's been very well. I think in the two friendly games before the tournament, he's probably one of the best players. But this is what the managers went for. I think it's going to be good. I think we're going to get after them. We're going to get bodies high and hopefully put the pressure on them. Yeah, Tomo, certainly in some of the podcasts we've had this week and also last Friday night, you were saying you'd like to see a bit more width in the Scotland team. Purely from being a striker myself, I'd like to have seen us play with a winger, but the formation that Steve Clarke selects generally doesn't allow that. But, on the left-hand side, which has been such a strength of ours throughout the qualifying campaign, with Tierney and with Robertson, they didn't manage to get forward. They didn't manage to get, beyond the halfway line, if you like. And it's so unusual to see that from Robertson and from Tierney. So I'm hoping tonight that their starting positions are going to be a lot higher, and you'll see that combination of those two working down this left-hand side. And hopefully that can be somewhere we can get some joy from, because as a striker, you're in the middle of the box, you're wanting deliveries, you're wanting crosses, you're wanting chances, and there just wasn't any on Friday. But tonight, I'm hoping it's going to be a very different story. He's got lots of options, Leanne, hasn't he, on the bench? As Lyndon said there, I thought Ryan Christie, I thought he did really well against Finland. He was very, very lively that night. So when you look at Steve Clarke and you see some of the players that he's got there, he can make positive changes if he needs to. Aye, of course, and every player that's here deserves to be here. Of course, we've spoke about the injuries to guys like Lyndon Dykes, and perhaps it's handed opportunities to a few other boys, but they're all top players, they've all earned it in their own right throughout the season. We've discussed even the likes of James Forrest could have been deployed in there at right wing back, which maybe would have been a bit left field to some tonight. But if you're looking for that attacking prowess, young guys like Ross McCrory that have come in as well, I'm sure desperate to go and be handed a job. Kenny McLean, guys that have been round the block, that are experienced players within the group as well. So yeah, there's strength and depth, of course, but we spoke about it earlier on. You're desperate for a starting jersey. I think at any major tournament was always a big thing, certainly when I was part of the national team as well. You're desperate to. I mean, look at
the fans just now. Just think of how those players must be feeling in the dressing room, and then it's over to the boys that are on the bench to make sure they do their job in terms of supporting the starting 11 just now, but watching the game, paying attention as well. If you get handed that opportunity in game, can you go and influence the game? Can you really make an impact? Because guys like Lawrence Shankland, as this game goes on tonight, if it's tight, if Scotland are in it, whether it's a draw, if they're even trailing 1-0 and we're looking for that 1 point, they're going to need to come on and certainly do a job.
I remember actually interviewing Ange Postecoglou a lot, Linda, when he was at Celtic. He shocked himself, and actually some of our pundits when he said before the game he didn't go into the dressing room. He left it to the players to have the final words. What will be happening? What we've got 15 minutes or so, 12 minutes until kick-off here. What will be happening in that dressing room right now from your experience?
The boys will be calm, but the leaders will start speaking. Cal McGregor, he has always a word before the game. Leads, gets the boys going, and that brings us confidence because he's such a leader on the pitch. As well from the manager, he will sit back a little bit, stay calm, and he'll have his final word at the end, and the boys will be ready when they come out. You don't really need to say much when we're coming out because the boys are just raring to go, and everyone's just, every time we're playing for Scotland, they're ready to go. So you don't really need to say much, but the leaders in there will be saying a few words. And definitely they know that they want to turn up tonight and get 3 points.
And you've got to soak it up, Stephen, haven't you? You've also got to remain composed, not let it be overawed by. I know these players have played massive games, playoff matches in England, championship deciding games up here, Champions League for some of them. But occasions can still get to professional footballers, can't they?
They can do it. Generally, from my experience before big games, finals and things, I felt nerves leading up to it, the week leading up to it, but as soon as you get to the stadium, something just switches in you a wee bit, and you can go into this kind of focused mode, and the nerves seem to kind of disappear, and certainly when the game starts, you completely forget about it. I have to say, this stadium I prefer to the one in Munich.
Yeah,
I think this is a proper football stadium. The one in Munich's got pizzazz and it's beautiful, new and huge. This is right on top of the players. I think this is brilliant. The atmosphere, obviously superb, but from a player's point of view, I love this. I absolutely love this stadium. I'm having it.
It's so noisy in here. See, we're on the pitch actually when it's this noisy. What can you hear instructions from the bench? Can you hear your fellow players shouting for passes or man on? Or what can you hear?
You can't hear anything, to be honest. It's funny, like you say, you come in with a bit of nerves, and then once the game gets going, it's like everything kind of goes numb. Obviously, watching the game the other night, I had a different view on it, sitting in the crowd, and it was so loud. And then when I'm on the pitch, I feel like I just don't hear anything. So
did you ever get that on the pitch? The ball will go out for a throw in, and there'll be a break in play, and you just look around you and go, jeez, oh man, because you'd totally forgotten about it. You're just in the zone.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like you flip a switch in your mind, and it's like you're just playing there with your pals, and the next minute you have a look up, and you're like, oh, bloody hell, there's like thousands of people here. And the manager in Austin, obviously, especially trying to yell stuff about set plays and that, and I'm like, mate, I can't hear what you're saying. Just put me somewhere and I'll win the header.
Absolutely fantastic. Guys, what do you think it's going to take? I know it's early days in the tournament. All we can do is refer back to the last Euros for the best placed third spot side. So 3 of them had 4 points to get through. Others had 3 points. One of them got through. That was one with the best goal difference. Do you think Steve Clarke's saying in his mind, and I'm sure he's not saying this to players who are looking for 6 points, but in his mind he's thinking we need to get to 4 points, given the particular goal difference situation for the first game?
Look, if you could get 6 points in the group, I think you're pretty much going through to the knockouts, absolutely. 4 points, he's verbalised that in the press conferences. We know he's earmarked the 4 points. 3 points, you're skating in really thin ice. I don't think you've got much hopes, although maybe you're relying on results elsewhere, a couple of draws maybe in the next couple of days, and it might start to look a bit brighter. But I think we'd be clutching at straws if we left here with 0 points tonight on the board heading into the last game. I don't think anybody would be feeling confident or comfortable that Scotland would have any chances on Sunday of getting out of the group, albeit I do know it's possible because I've been there and felt it. But you hand over the control to everybody else in the tournament virtually. You lose every element of control that you would want to have. So let's just hope that tonight Scotland get minimum a point for me. I've got a feeling we can do it. If the boys turn up as Lyndon's described in the last couple of days, there's been a lot of chat, a lot of conversations, certainly dusted themselves goals down. You're looking at them in the tunnel just now, the pictures that we've got. Andy Robertson, he looks focused at the front. He's going to lead them out. This place is going to absolutely erupt, and I need to agree with Tomo. It's probably similar. Al described it on the news earlier on, a bit like a time castle in terms of how steep the stands are. The fans right on top of us. We're up really high as well. Much better vantage point than we had on Friday night, I need to say. Let's just get the ball rolling, shall we?
Well, do you know what? The players are just about to come out. I can see Andy Robertson, that stare at the front of the tunnel there, but I'm sure they must have watched what we're about to hear several times over the past week or so. We love a bit of nostalgia in sports, and here's one that's very, very relevant.
Throw in to Switzerland, 20 yards from the corner flag, down the Swiss right. It's intercepted. McCoy's a header inside to McAllister. Back to McCoy, 20 yards out, shot! Brilliant goal! Ali McCoy's had scored for Scotland! 36 minutes, he runs over to Craig Brown on the halfway line. A magnificent strike by Ali McCoy. Scotland 1, Switzerland 0.
More of the same tonight. It's electric inside this stadium as the players come out. We'll not do this to Lyndon, but for Stephen and for Leanne, how do you see this one going tonight?
I think it's a difficult game, but I think it's a game we can get something from. We need to get something from the game. I'm going to go for a score draw.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if we can get a quick start, I'd like to see, I don't mind the Swiss clawing it back and getting something out of the game, but I would rather Scotland look to get their noses in front early doors, start aggressive, get the fans on side, get this place absolutely going.
These fans deserve a performance. It's time now to sit back and enjoy the action. There's a second match of Euro 2024. Quite simply, we must take something from this game. It's Scotland against Switzerland. We'll hand you to our commentary team after the national anthem.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of Scotland.
Absolutely fantastic. The fans are in fine voice. Let's hope the team match that with a performance here in Cologne this evening. A huge game for Steve Clarke and his side as the players exchange handshakes down below us on the pitch. I'll hand you to your commentary team of Stephen Thompson, Leanne Crichton and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks, Kenny. Goosebump stuff there from the Tartan Army. How could you not be roused by that? As Scotland seek redemption tonight in Cologne, having failed to turn up against Germany. The players have acknowledged they fell well short of the standards required on Friday, and now they must try to repay the tens of thousands of of supporters who've travelled to back the side and ensure their chances of progress are still alive going into Sunday's game with Hungary. The teams down below us just get their last pictures taken before breaking out onto the pitch. And there goes Andy Robertson and his Swiss counterpart Granit Xhaka exchanging the pennants, shaking hands with the officials, who the referee, certainly from Slovakia, Ivan Krujliak. Switzerland certainly no Germany, but they were highly impressive in their opening victory. And they know that another positive result tonight will see them into the knockout stage for the 6th successive major tournament. They certainly know how to get the job done. It's something Scotland need to learn, and quickly. Scotland are all in navy blue. Goalkeeper Angus Gunn all in sort of lime green colour. Switzerland all in white as they go into a huddle. This Cologne Stadium, as the guys have been talking about, is simply phenomenal. 50,000 packed to the rafters. It's more or less a 50-50 split. Maybe the Scotland fans just edging it, but there's little pockets of Switzerland fans in amongst the Scots, and likewise little pockets of Scots in amongst the Swiss. It makes for a fabulous occasion, a fabulous atmosphere, and now it's down to the Scotland team to rise to the occasion and put Friday behind them. It will be Scotland going from left to right as we look at it from high up in the main stand, who will kick us off. It's Billy Gilmour into the starting 11 who will get us underway. And he just knocks the ball back to John McGinn, who plays it up and down the right-hand side. It's straight out of play as Scotland look to make amends for a really disappointing start to Euro 2024 and get themselves right back on track. They know that Hungary are on 0 points after their 2 games, having lost to Germany earlier this afternoon, and they can move into second with a victory, certainly, and with Switzerland to play Germany in their final game. That would put the Scots in a terrific position, but a lot of work to do before that, as Scotland win a free kick for a shove there, and it'll be free kick to Scotland down in the right back position, which Angus Gunn will trot across here to take this early free kick. I mean, Leanne, the atmosphere is just something else, isn't it?
It's electrifying, it really is. The Tartan Army playing their part, but the Swiss fans off to our right-hand side as well. They've been in a fine fettle almost since we arrived in the stadium, actually, but as the place is filled up, it's exceptional.
Scotland throw in right-hand side to be taken by Jack Henry just inside the Swiss half. Back the way it goes to the other new man in the starting 11. That's Grant Hanley. Rolls it back to Angus Gunn at the edge of his box. He knocks it long, looking for him again, but it's won by Fabian Schär of Newcastle United. Now it's Manuel Akanji playing out to the right-hand side for Dan Ndoye of Bologna. Again, no, doing well to win possession back into one side of throw in. Andy Robertson wanted to take it quickly. Eventually manages to get it back off a Swiss player and rolls it down the line to McGinn, who wins Scotland an early corner. Good start from the Scots, Stephen.
Certainly is. We're only a minute 45 in, but you can already see there's a much different look to this Scotland side tonight. Winning a corner within the first 2 minutes is absolutely brilliant and a real opportunity for us now.
It'll be Scott McTominay from the left-hand side to swing this one in. Scotland looking to get off to a rip-roaring start here in Cologne. Plenty of Scots inside the 6-yard box as McTominay fires it in near post. It's well watched though by Freuler, I think it was. And out on the far side it's going to be a Scotland throw-in.
Poor corner, wasn't it?
I think he just slipped Scott McTominay just in the run-up. Failed to beat anybody beyond the front post, but certainly a throw-in still in the final third. Just a good opportunity for Scotland just to keep the ball in here, look to try and create something.
Kieran Tierney to take this one just a few yards away from the corner flag on that left-hand side. Scotland still get out everyone pretty much up the park. Jack Henry and Grant Hanley deepest in terms of outfield players. In it comes to the penalty area. It's well won though back there, but picked up by McGregor. Back out to Tierney, crossing opportunity, can't beat the first man. Gets another chance to put it into the box, so comes to Adam, just tries to nudge it on to Robertson, who tries to fire it into the box. Another Scotland corner. This is good stuff from the Scots.
Yeah, it's good, really good. Just a little period of pressure, which I think the players will need.
It's going to really settle the team, isn't it?
100%, because that's what you want. You want not even necessarily a quick start, but just a portion of the game that you feel you're in total control. And a couple of early chances. Scott McTominay, as we mentioned, he slipped with the first corner, but he's got a second bite at it now to look to go and put something in with a bit better quality. Give John McGinn and the likes something to go and attack.
McTominay lining up the corner from the left-hand side, swings it in right on top of the keeper. Good take from Jan Sommer inside his 6-yard box, and he bowls it out as Switzerland look to try and play themselves into the game. And it's Granit Xhaka driving them forward, plays the ball through, it's just beyond Vargas there, and all the way through to Angus Gummer. Played 4 minutes in the Cologne Stadium. A good start from Scotland, but it remains Scotland 0, Switzerland 0.
You can see there's a real intent in the Scotland side to play higher up than they were certainly in that Germany game. We've got 4 players up in the halfway line here. Options for the players on the ball.
Grant Hanley outside his own penalty area, plays it up towards the halfway line, flicked on there by Ralston. Vargas, Akanji picks up at the back for Switzerland as they look to settle into the game. Xhaka just can't allow him to begin to dictate things the way Toni Kroos did the other night for the Germans. But Scotland certainly pressing the Swiss higher at this stage, but it played down the right-hand side for Ndoye. Kieran Tierney's with him, and he steps in and he knocks it away. Out of play, over on the far side. We've got a reporter, Jane Lewis, down behind one of the goals, just to provide a bit of colour and a bit of atmosphere. Jane, what's it like down there?
Yeah, I'm actually sitting behind Al, the goal that Scotland are scoring towards, so I want them to be on target for more than one reason, because it could be pretty perilous stuff for me down here if they're a bit off target. But listen, it is a brilliant atmosphere. I look behind me and it is pretty much a sea of red. They're colourful and they are noisy. 1 or 2 wee pockets, as I said before, of Scotland fans, but it's mostly the Swiss fans, and they are absolutely loving this, as are the Scotland fans as well, of course, but they are very, very noisy. It is so atmospheric. It's utterly, utterly brilliant.
Nice Jane, shoving it back there by Sheringham. Again, a Scotland free kick about 10 yards inside the Scots half. There was a misplaced pass just a moment ago as Jane was speaking by Grant Hanley, but Switzerland not able to really take advantage. Billy Gilmore's taken a knock in the face by the looks of it as well, but it seems to be okay, signaling for the referee he doesn't need any treatment, so it will be a free kick to Scotland to be taken by Kieran Tierney, who's not clear exactly where he's going to be playing his football next season after a loan spell at Real Sociedad. He's knocked the free kick too long, all the way behind for a goal kick at the other end. Switzerland goal kick. We played 6 minutes here, 0-0.
That's just a straight ball over the top from Kieran Tierney, searching for Andy Robertson, but the quality in the pass wasn't there. Even in those types of moments, though, I get Scotland are looking to try and get into the Swiss defensive third and look to get at them, but I would like Scotland just to get the ball turning, especially when you've got the likes of Billy Gilmour in there, Callum McGregor. Just get them back on the ball, just regain possession and look to try and build the play.
Gone under a bit of pressure there, just slices the ball out of play. Dan Ndoye was closing him down as the ball was played down the right channel for Switzerland, and it's going to be a throw in to the Swiss, more or less in line with the 18-yard box, out on the right-hand side as they attack. They go back the way to Scher, who's playing on the right-hand side of a back three for Switzerland. They were highly impressive for the most part in that victory over Hungary. Did that commentary, and very, very impressed by them. Certainly deserving of the victory. And here's Freuler playing it forward for Shaqiri, who's the only man to come into that side from the game against Hungary. John McGinn snapping into the challenge.
It's never a free kick.
Yeah, it didn't look like it, did it?
Nah, if anything, a lot of the ball.
If anything, a throw in to Switzerland as the ball chipped through early on, but no chance Vargas is going to get onto that. Easy for Gunn, who rolls it out to Ralston. Ralston could do with a few touches early on just to keep his confidence high. Might have taken a bit of a knock after that defeat by Germany. Shea Adams can't make anything of the ball forward. It's back now with Scher, and then Freuler plays it out to the right-hand side for Sylvain Widmer. Back with Freuler, right on the halfway line, inside the centre circle. Plays it into the middle of the park, and now it's Rodriguez, the left-hand side of the central back three. just knocks it out to the left-hand side for Ruben Vargas. Switzerland beginning to enjoy a bit more possession. Kanji under pressure though here from McTominay. One side of Manchester up against the other. As Shaqiri just drops off the bumper, he's giving it straight to McGinn, and now it's McTominay bursting into the Swiss half, pokes the ball forward, and it's well cut out by Rodriguez. Didn't quite fall kindly for Shea Adams there, who was lurking, but the ball goes back to Jan Sommer in the Swiss goal. And after 8 minutes, it's still Scotland 0, Switzerland 0.
It's a decent opportunity that. It was slack from the Swiss giving the ball away, and he really should have found Shea Adams, who peeled out the back of the man that was marking him. I think it was Akanji.
Here comes Switzerland low down the right-hand side. It's Vidmar making the yards. He just hit that too heavy, then Hanley goes down under a slight touch. I think it's just going to be a goal kick in the end. Hanley well in charge of that situation, but Vidmar in a good position there. He could have done better. He just took, as I say, a heavy touch that took the ball away from him.
Yeah, he does. The touch is poor, to be honest, but you can see this, the Swiss have almost got the same idea as Scotland have, looking for that quick start. A couple of times they've forced it, looking to try and get in behind. A couple of dead ball situations, they've looked for the same. You can tell that they've identified this game, as we had spoke about before we came on, before the game started, this is their opportunity to really go and nail down qualification from the group.
We are playing a very high line, and they have looked to go in behind us at least 3 or 4 occasions already in the opening 9 minutes.
Well, I've seen Germany getting a lot of joy doing that.
Yep.
And so far, it hasn't come off for the Swiss, as Shea Adams again fails to keep a hold of the ball, and then he catches Rodriguez in the face as Rodriguez came from his blind side and headed it away, and Adams conceding the free kick. One interesting thing for me tactically is Ebischer on this left-hand side. I mean, he often plays more centrally, certainly for Bologna, but he played against Hungary in this left wing-back, but he's going in the park an awful lot. He is right-footed, and look at it, you can see where he is now. He's right in the park, almost as an inverted wing-back, if you like. Gives him an extra man in the middle of the park.
Yeah, he's creating that overload, making it really difficult for Scotland.
That's a poor ball from Gilmour, trying to play it to Ralston. It's gone out of play deep into the Scotland half, and it's a throw-in to Switzerland here, down in the left-hand side near the corner flag. Here's Vargas, closed down by Gilmour, but he drops his shoulder and he just knocks it out of play, thankfully for Scotland. 10 minutes in, throw into the Scots. No goals as yet. Germany is 6 points from 6 after that victory over Hungary, to follow up the mauling of the Scots in Munich. And Scotland looking to make amends here this evening.
It's very evenly poised. It's been an even opening 10 minutes of the game. Certainly a much better start to the game than the previous one.
It's back with Fabian Schär inside his own half. Just plays that to the right-hand side for Vidmar, the right wing-back. He's playing a more natural right wing back, staying wide, whereas Ebischer, as you can see just at the moment, is right inside the centre circle. So it's an interesting tactic from Murat Yakin, the Swiss head coach. He did mention that he'd made a couple of tweaks from even the warm-up games. It's often Dan and Doy, who's playing right wing tonight, who plays in that left wing back role, but he's changed that as Yakin, and it worked for him against Hungary. Here's Akanji on the edge of his own box. Always looks assured. Shaqiri dropping very deep to pick up possession. Now it's Schär, right-hand side, just clips it forward down the right for Ebischer, who now popping up in that right wing position, putting Hendry under pressure, and Hendry's claiming he was pushed there as he tried to get it back to Angus Gunn, but he's knocked it behind, and he's not going to get the free kick, and it is going to be a Swiss corner on the right-hand side.
It's really cheap, Leanne, isn't it? It's an absolute gift for Switzerland, this. He's got a simple pass back to his goalkeeper, and he gets it all wrong, way too much pace on it, and unfortunately gives away the corner.
There's no push either.
No.
Just a little bit of pressure from the attacker.
Shaqiri, who becomes the first Swiss player to go to 7 major championships. That's the kind of experience they can call upon. He's going to take this corner from the right, left-footed, played it short. Scotland have only got Callum McGregor out there. They've worked it here. It's Freuler back out to Shaqiri, changing the angle, still on the left foot, curls it in dangerously, away by McTominay. Good header, really important in there, and then Robertson helps it on. And Scotland making the counter here. It's Gilmour finding Robertson. Here they come over the halfway line. Outside of him is Callum McGregor. It's still Robertson. Now he plays McGregor. McGregor inside the box. Touches it back for McTominay. It's in! Oh, a big deflection. Takes it past Jan Sommer. And Scotland in front. And it's Scott McTominay. Once again, Scotland 1, Switzerland 0.
It's brilliant. the stroke of luck in terms of the deflection, but it's a counter-attacking play. Billy Gilmour, he secures the pass right away. Andy Robertson, he's on the attack. It comes from the initial Switzerland corner that we defend really well. McTominay is the header, as you described, Al. It's just that little bit of composure from Gilmour, for me, sets the tone. It gives Robertson the space to go and attack. Callum McGregor, he's doing everything he possibly can to get up and support. He almost makes a mess of it with the first touch, but McTominay arrives. Just get your shot off, Tom. We'll get it on target.
It's his goal. It was on target.
We'll take it.
It was absolutely brilliant. You're right from Billy Gilmour to secure it and knock it off to Andy Robertson. But what he did after that was sensational. Drove with the ball about 60 yards. Played down McGregor, and you're right. I thought the chance had gone. I thought McGregor made a meal of it. He plays it back to McTominay, who burst himself as well to get up to the edge of the 18. Shots on target, deflected into the goal. Brilliant.
Let's hear from Jane Lewis behind that goal.
Oh, I have to say, Andy Robertson, when he picked up that ball, the sheer determination on his face as he was driving forward was just brilliant to see. It really was. The focus, and as the guys have described there, the ball into McGregor, and then that finish, a little bit of luck, will absolutely take it. Somewhat silenced the Swiss fans behind me. They're looking a little bit riled. They're sounding a little bit unhappy with what's unfolding. I have to say, there was one Scot who got up amongst the Switzerland fans. There's one or two in them in there, as I said. One Scot who got up himself on the hoardings and just held the Scottish flag aloft and was cheering for all his heart was content. Utterly brilliant stuff down here when that goal went in.
Thanks, Jane. It's been given by UEFA as a Fabian Schär own goal, but as Tom said, it was on target. It's surely going to go down as a Scott McTominay goal, and he keeps up the record of every goal being scored at a Euros by a Scot has been scored by a Mick something, and now it's Scott McTominay who had that brilliant record of goal scoring and qualifying, and now he's got a goal at a major tournament, and it's put Scotland ahead as Kieran Tierney gives away a cheap corner. But maybe it doesn't matter, because the last cheap corner resulted in Scotland up the other end, so we'll take it.
Yeah, it was a really slack one again from Kieran Tierney in his right foot, very similar to the Hendry one before it. He was slightly off balance, he was looking for a foul, but there was no foul. And another opportunity for Switzerland to put the ball in our box. But you're right, I'll take a counter-attack goal for this one.
The thing is, Tomo, only Callum McGregor went out to close that previous one down, and it didn't quite come off only because McTominay got the good clearing header. But they have to be more aware, surely, that they've got an overload. Anyway, here's Shaqiri, right hand side, curls it in again. It's McTominay rising the head. Rodriguez latches onto it, volleys wide though, and the Scots behind that goal cheer loudly, almost as loudly as they cheered when the McTominay goal went in. And so, after a quarter of an hour in the Cologne Stadium, listen to this, it's Scotland 1, Switzerland 0.
It's just an opportunity to breathe for Scotland. You always know when you go and score, the next 5 minutes after that you're really vulnerable, because you know the opposition's going to come at you. But it's just an opportunity now for Scotland just to put their foot in the ball, look to try and calm the game. Weather the Swiss storm that you would expect will come, but the start from Scotland in this 15 minutes or so, it's been much, much better. And Scott McTominay, that's the Scott McTominay that we expect to see. Box to box, wins a header at one end of the pitch, and then he's up at the other end to go and get the shot off and give Scotland the advantage.
Well, we know he was carrying a knock from the end of the season from the FA Cup final, and he didn't play the 2 warm-up games, and he, to be fair, looked off it like the rest of the team
was off it
on Germany, so he didn't look like he was fully fit, but he's covering a whole lot of
his
ground.
Energy tonight, Al, all the players' energy levels are through the roof at this minute in time. Since the start of the game, it's a complete opposite from the Germany game.
Yeah, they've got a point to prove, haven't they? And it very much looks like it as the referee gets in the way of Remo Freuler. There'll be a drop ball to the Swiss side, who trail to that Scott McTominay goal. UEFA still putting it up as a Fabian Schär own goal, but we will be referring to it until told absolutely otherwise as a Scott McTominay goal. But here comes Switzerland looking to respond. It's Vargas on the left-hand side up against Ralston. Into the penalty area he comes. Tries to squeeze it across. It comes off Ralston into the side netting. Another Swiss corner, this time on the left-hand side.
That's defended well from Tony Ralston. It was all he could do. Just don't let your man get beyond you. Make sure the ball doesn't get into the box.
Again, they've got 2-on-1 out here for the short corner should they choose to use it, but looks Vargas is lining up as if he's going to put it straight in, which he does, and it comes to the 6-yard box, headed away by Hendry, and there's a couple of players down in the edge of the 6-yard box, one from each side. There's a head knock in there, and play has stopped to allow treatment to both players. There was some brave defending in there. I'm not sure who that is that's down holding their head for the Scots team, but he's in a fair degree of pain.
Ralston, I think.
Yeah.
And just a worrying moment then for the Scots and Anthony Ralston in particular, but there's an opportunity to just get a bit of fluids on for the other players, because it is warm here. I think about 22 degrees at kick-off, and pretty humid feeling as well. And the players have started very energetically, as the guys have been saying, and they do have that one goal advantage, and that just boosts the confidence levels, it boosts the energy levels as well, doesn't it?
They needed it, Alistair. They had to start the game well and show an intent, and they did that, and to get the goal just relieves so much pressure. You can hear the crowd, they're absolutely buzzing, and that transcends onto the pitch. The players have got such a lift from the supporters.
Anthony Ralston happily is at least sitting up, and he's actually getting slowly to his feet. He's a hardy boy, we know that, but no chances, of course, can be taken by head knocks. These days we know much more about that and the danger of it, but he looks to be okay. He's just making his way across the pitch just now. The Swiss player actually also looks a little bit shaken. It's Scher who got the deflection on the McTominay goal to divert it past Jan Sommer, who's also coming across to the touchline here. I don't think they have to go off if a player from both sides has had treatment, but Scher is coming across to the touchline.
He's going to need a new shirt. He's got a bit of claret on his top. Yeah,
I just think at times when it's a head knock like that as well, they take both players off just to make sure that there is no blood, as Tomo described.
Yeah, the referee is telling Ralston he has to go off, you're right.
Yeah.
So both sides down to 10 just momentarily, as Steve Clark down there prowling at the edge of his technical area, but he'll be a whole lot happier than he was after 20 minutes in Munich, that's for sure.
Yeah, he'll be pleased. I just did a look at the rerun there of the goal whilst that breaking play, and the camera panned to Steve Clark. Just a cool, calm celebration, nothing over the top, nothing like the Swiss manager certainly that we've seen at the start of the game.
No, he won't be getting carried away. It's not really his style. As Switzerland pick up possession then, and still both players who had head knocks away to come back on. Now they're way back on by the Slovakian referee. 20 minutes in, it's Scotland 1, Switzerland 0. Scott McTominay with the opener. I mean, scored 7 in qualifying, but Switzerland in possession on the right-hand side, looking to get themselves back level. It's Ndoye just knocking it back the way. And now Scher back on the field of play, plays it infield to Akanji. He's put under a bit of pressure by Shea Adams, but no one closing off the pass to Freuler, and he gets it played to Shaqiri, and then back infield to Freuler from Widmer. Shaqiri once more tries to play the ball inside Robertson. It's a good run from Widmer, a good challenge though from Robertson, but it will be another Swiss corner. They're racking them up here in the early stages. I think that's a fourth, and Scotland with a bit more defending to do here to preserve their advantage, but they do have an advantage. Crucially, they lead by a goal to nil.
Really good play actually that from Switzerland down the right hand side. Lovely pass from Shaqiri into Widmer, showing a good turn of pace. Andy Robertson defended the situation really well.
Shaqiri once more then with a left foot curls one into the 6-yard box. It's off the head of Hanley this time, high in the air. McGregor was beaten in there by Freuler, comes back into the 6-yard box, helped away again though, and Robertson gets it up towards the halfway line. Scotland just need to get themselves up the park a bit and regain control of the game. They don't want to let the Swiss begin to dictate things, as Freuler has it inside the Scotland half, out to the right hand side. It's Ndoye and then flick forward. Freuler's well offside, no flag as yet from the assistant, as McTominay picks up possession and tries to play it out of danger, finds Gilmour on the edge of the box. Scotland keeping cool. It's terrific play, really is very composed, and now it's Robertson left hand side crossing the halfway line, getting forward once more, pokes it beyond one Swiss player, but across goes Akanji to stop him in his tracks and play it back to Jan Sommer, and Switzerland can begin again from the back.
So much composure shown there at Leanne. We didn't see that once in the Germany game, popping the ball about our own 18-yard box, 4 or 5 passes under pressure, brilliant.
Switzerland have won it in the middle of the park. Gilmour caught in possession. And forward comes Scher, plays it to the right-hand side now for Xhaka. Xhaka, who had such a wonderful season with the unbeaten Bayer Leverkusen side domestically, winning the league and cup double. He was a crucial part of that. Here's Shaqiri. Suggestions that his career is on the wane, perhaps, out in the MLS, but still a hugely potentially influential player as Switzerland knock it about inside Scotland territory. Forward comes Scher once more, tries to play that ball inside Robertson. Vidmar's done well to get it across, but the offside flag goes up on this occasion. It'll be a Scotland free kick deep in their own half, and after 23.5 minutes, is Scotland 1, Switzerland 0.
Yeah, it's given us offside, but again, it's nice play from Switzerland. They're unfortunate just to be marginally offside. You can see that that's probably a pattern of play, Tomo, that they've worked on. They're looking to try and just exploit that space between Kieran Tierney and Andy Robertson, just as they look to try and draw Robertson out and then penetrate that area.
It's been a better kind of 5-10 minute spell this for Switzerland, put us under a bit of pressure, but thankfully nothing has come of it so far.
Yeah, nothing for Angus Gunn to do as yet, so we hope that remains the case for the remainder of the game as Gunn prepares to take the free kick from just outside his penalty area. Down the left it goes. It's McTominay challenging for it. He's gone down holding his head as if he was caught, but the referee takes a moment and then does stop play. Not sure how much there was actually in that, but he does seem to be rubbing the back of his head, McTominay.
You gotta be look at it now, Alistair. He jumps for the header. There's maybe just a slight knock in the back of his head. I think he'll be okay. Won't need the physios on, I would imagine. He's still holding it right enough.
Yeah, the referee was about to restart play there, but McTominay is taking his time to get back up. He's got the crucial involvement in the game so far. Deflected effort past Jan Sommer in the Swiss goal, another ultra-experienced member of that Swiss side, the 35-year-old Inter keeper. Here he is, playing it out to the left to Ricardo Rodriguez, who himself is making his 117th appearance for his country. They are a side who always seem to qualify. Not only do they qualify, they always, certainly in the last 5 tournaments, have got to the knockout stage, and they will be very much hoping to continue that run. But they'll have to do something about this scoreline tonight, as Sommer again plays it out to the left-hand side for Rodriguez, who'll bring it forward up to the halfway line, then slides it forward. It's a poor ball. Hanley cuts it out, finds Gilmour. Gilmour chests it down. That's a slack ball from Ralston. He's given it to Shaqiri. What a goal! And Anthony Ralston has sold the jerseys, and Shaqiri has made him pay by finding the top corner. And Scotland, after all the good work, find themselves level as Ralston plays it straight into the path of Shaqiri, and from 22 yards, first time he knocks it beyond Angus Gunn, and it's Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
It's just so incredibly slack. Billy Gilmour pops it off to Ralston. He doesn't even look, tries to pop it back inside to the centre half. But what I would say after that, the finish is absolutely world class.
That's a lovely finish. Listen, take nothing away from Shaqiri, but it's just so frustrating because Scotland have worked so hard to get their noses in front in this game. But the first touch initially from Hanley, it was heavy to Gilmour, but Gilmour deals with it really well. He drops the ball back to Ralston. He angles again to receive the ball. Billy Gilmour wants the ball passed forward to him, and Anthony Ralston, it's just a lazy pass backwards, and it's something that the Swiss will have identified in terms of how negative Scotland can be at times. When the ball goes back, we've already, Tom, identified the high line at times that Scotland have got and how aggressively they're squeezing the game. But what a finish from Shaqiri.
It's just so avoidable, isn't it?
It's a real sickener, and now Jack Henry's giving it away.
Honestly,
as well. Scotland have to just regain the composure, have to put that behind them and start again. But that was Xherdan Shaqiri's 32nd goal for his country, and what a finish it was. I said a couple of minutes ago that his career might be on the way, not on the evidence of that finish.
You know your stuff, Al.
But what a finish it was. Absolutely incredible from Xherdan Shaqiri. He still had a lot of work to do, to be fair, when Ralston gave it to him, but he did it with aplomb. Angus Gunn diving away to his right. He had absolutely no chance of reaching out. We couldn't even say he was particularly out of position. But
no, I mean, I said it, Al, that is world class what you've just seen there. To hit the ball on the run like he was. It was just sensational.
He barely looked, did he? He barely looked up. He just knew where he was, what he was doing.
Class.
And Switzerland have a very cheap equaliser. We've seen some really cracking goals at this Euros already, and that is right up there. And here's a chance for Vidmar, gets the shot away, but it's over the top, and Scotland allowing him the freedom of the penalty area. Scotland are rocking. I can imagine, Jane, that the atmosphere behind that goal is somewhat different now.
Oh, they have absolutely woken up after that equaliser, and a stunning goal it was as well. I have to say, I think I'm now wearing half of the beer that they've thrown out in celebration as that goal went in. But yeah, just listen to them. They're absolutely lapping it up now, aren't they? And I would imagine that will just translate onto the pitch and just give the Swiss side an extra little boost, won't it? Yeah, but listen, that goal was worthy of the applause and the vocal noise that's coming from these Swiss fans now. It was brilliant to see.
72% possession in this opening 28 minutes for the Swiss, and they've made it pay eventually with the equaliser. But Scotland had started the game well, got the opening goal, and they just need to get back to doing what they were doing in the opening quarter of an hour. As Shea Adams battles away for possession and flying into the challenge, and he's caught a Swiss player there, and he's given away a free kick. And the Swiss are not happy about it. Granit Xhaka is making his point clear.
There's nothing in that challenge at all.
No, it certainly didn't look like there was. Like, there's contact just as Shea Adams comes through the challenge, but nothing that merits rolling about
on the ground.
Abishar looking to try and get the player booked, essentially. You know, he's back up on his feet, and now he's in possession, going down the left-hand side. He's played it in behind for Vargas. Vargas in a good position, tries to find Ndoye. Good defending in the end there from Hanley to get it away. But Scotland are rather at 6s and 7s just at the moment. That goal has really knocked their confidence. And here's Ralston, the man who is really the guilty party in giving it away. Don't want to really be too harsh on any one player, but he was just slack with his pass. He didn't look, and he gave it straight to Xherdan Shaqiri, and he did the rest. 1-1 it stands as the half hour ticks around here in the Cologne Stadium. Callum McGregor picks up possession for Scotland, midway inside his own half, out to the left to Robertson. Robertson back to Hanley, but 15 yards outside his own penalty. Yes, Leanne, you're saying Scotland need to move themselves up the park as a collective, don't they?
Yeah, I'm just looking at, I mean, we're in possession. Jack Henry's kind of fanned out in terms of the back three in this right-hand side, but Tony Ralston's, his movements coming towards Jack Henry too early. I think he needs to go and push Ibishar further back the pitch, just to create a bit more space for the Scotland midfield to look to try and work the ball and angle the ball.
Gilmore's caught there by Rodriguez. First yellow card of the game goes to Ricardo Rodriguez of Switzerland for his challenge there on Gilmore.
He's hardly touched them. He's unlucky.
The initial point of contact was probably just a bit high, Tomo, I think, just above the shin guard mark where it would be.
I think the referee's view of that, and maybe what Billy Gilmore made of it, has made it look worse than it was, certainly.
Yeah. It was good hold-up play from Shea Adams, I have to say. He linked the play well to Billy Gilmore, who got up to support him and knocked it past Rodriguez, but the referee deemed it's definitely a foul, but for me, harsh yellow.
Free kick on the halfway line then to Scotland, right-hand side, to be taken by Jack Henry. 31 played in Cologne. Scotland won through Scott McTominay, but equalised by Xherdan Shaqiri. 1-1 it stands as the free kick is headed away as far as Xhaka, who just rolls it back to his goalkeeper from about 25 yards out. Short ball out to Akanji. He's pressed by McTominay, but he's spread play out to Cher. The slightly dicey ball, but Shaqiri just flicks it on nicely, and then Xhaka plays it forward. It's good play. Now Ndoye for Vargas. Vargas up against Hendry, slips it to Ndoye inside the penalty area. Ndoye onto the right foot, great save from Angus Gunn to tip it wide. It was on target, it was heading for the back of the net, and Angus Gunn steps up and saves his country from going behind. 1-1 it stands.
Well, you were saying you've seen some good goals in this tournament. That was the goal of the tournament if it goes in. It was unbelievable football.
That's what you talk about, counter-attacking football. 1 and 2 touch play, absolutely sliced Scotland open.
It's a good save from Gunn, isn't it?
He does really well.
Fingertip save, vital.
Yeah, Scotland certainly on the back foot just at the moment. Switzerland certainly on top, particularly having got that equaliser. And Ndoye standing at the back post, completely unmarked here as the corner comes in, but it goes to the near post, and Billy Gilmore, the smallest man in the pitch, gets his head to it. Out comes Gunn, he hasn't got there. Ndoye's turned it in! And Switzerland have turned it round, but the offside flag is up to save Scotland momentarily. At least VAR will have a look at it, but there was again a scramble in there. Scotland not dealing with it at all well. Gunn came off his line, didn't get there, and Ndoye turns it into the net. Did he come from an offside position? That's what we're going to ask ourselves here.
I think he might just be off the left
he looks as
half
if
of his body, but Gunn was absolutely all over the place there. Really, really lucky, Gunn, if this does not stand. I mean, it's inches we're talking here for the offside, but Gunn flies over his line, doesn't get anywhere near it. It's tapped into the net. I think it will end up being offside. Yeah, offside.
Well, thank goodness for that, but Scotland really need to regroup and quickly, because although Angus Gunn made a really good save just a minute ago, he was caught out there, and Dan Doy looked like he'd taken advantage, but the offside flag by the skin of Scotland's teeth has saved them, and so it remains Scotland 1, Switzerland 1 after 33 minutes as Shea Adams looks to try and make an impact at the other end, and Gilmour goes down. Not too much in that, and the referee didn't think so either as he waves Gilmour away.
As much as we've spoke about Scotland starting the game better, certainly it wasn't going to take much to be a better start than Friday night, certainly. But I just feel there's still a real nervousness running through the team. Even before Switzerland get that equaliser, the couple of occasions that Scotland gave away the cheap corners, slack back passes, we're looking at Angus Gunn coming out there, not really getting close to it. There just has to just be that little bit of calmness, a bit of composure, and keep your structure out of possession as well. I almost feel that any time Switzerland want to turn it on just now and really go and get at Scotland, they're getting an opportunity of success, and that for me is a bit of a concern.
So a throw into Switzerland, midway inside their own half, right-hand side. Far side as we look at it. John McGinn hasn't been able to get involved in the game as yet, out on that left-hand side. Flick forward by Robertson. McTominay just nods it down from midway inside the Swiss half. Knocked forward, and Angus Gunn will come all the way out of his goal midway into the centre of the park and plays it to Hendry. Hendry for Hanley. Hanley for McGregor, offering himself. Over the halfway line comes Scotland, and it's McGinn into McTominay. McTominay away from Akanji, but he can't find the pass. Out for a throw-in on the far side.
We do look a wee bit rattled, I have to say. You know, they started the game so well, first 15 or so minutes, then Switzerland come into the game, but in the last 10 minutes we have been a wee bit all over the place. We just need to get our foot in the ball, make a few passes, just calm everything down.
I just feel it looks slightly dysfunctional, even when it builds up from Angus Gunn. I'm looking at Tony Ralston on this right-hand side, as I had identified. I'm not sure. He's almost in a position where he doesn't know whether to stick or twist. Can he go and attack? Can he get higher up the pitch? Is it that he's worried and there is a bit of nervousness, and that's why he's just hanging back? But I just don't see where we create the space to get the likes of John McGinn and Scott McTominay on the ball, in those kind of the 10 pockets of space just in front of the Swiss backline, that you can then allow Robertson to come and support the play, allow Gilmour to come and support underneath it.
Here is Gilmour. He started the game well, offering that composure in the middle of the park that you knew he would. Gets it back here from Callum McGregor, just inside the Swiss half, plays it back onto more or less the centre circle for Hanley. Now it's Kieran Tierney out to the left-hand side for Robertson. Robertson creates a big, good ball into McTominay. Left-hand side, he has to turn back the way, though, to Tierney, just inside his own half, and now it's McGregor. Plays it square to Jack Hendry on the halfway line. Ralston's available out here on the right flank, but he goes back in field to McGregor. A poor touch from him, and he's forced into kind of evasive action there. And Shaqiri went down looking for the free kick, but the referee says no. And Scotland continue with it, but they haven't got too many ideas in terms of coming forwards. Now it's Hendry looking for Ralston. Ralston right-hand side, quickly pressurised there by Vargas. Back to Hendry it goes. Now down the right channel, one for Adams to go and try and pressurise Rodriguez. He's done well. It's Adams winning possession. Now it's McTominay, edge of the box. Oh, he just stands in the ball. But Scotland are going to get an advantage here, or a free kick brought back, because Adams was fouled before he played the pass. And got a bit of a break there from the referee, it looks like. And they'll take it all day long. Free kick about 30-odd yards out.
It was slightly better play from us. We kept the ball a bit better in that sequence of play. There was just a wee tiny clip on Adams as he released the ball into McTominay before he stood on it, and the rest good referee, and he's brought it back. And this is an opportunity for us, probably about 30 yards out. Slight angle, but I imagine it'll get stood up to the back post for the bigger lads to go and attack.
You can see Austin McPhee out at the edge of the technical area, just trying to get an instruction on here to the free kick taker, who is Scott McTominay.
There's John doing his one where he stands in the goal again.
Yeah, it didn't really come off against Germany, and he's changed his mind. He's coming back out onto the edge of the 18-yard box. So it's right of centre. Scott McTominay looking to play this one into the danger area and find a second Scotland goal. In it goes. It's flicked on by Hendry. Back post is Hanley, but the free kick is given, I think, for the challenge initially by Hendry and winning the first header, and it will be a free kick to Switzerland. We've played almost 38 minutes here in Cologne. It's Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
That wasn't the best delivery, I would need to say, from Scott McTominay. Austin McPhee's trying to get instructions on just in terms of the delivery and what he was looking for.
Scotland have won it in a good position once more. It's McGregor midway inside the Switzerland half, out to the left hand side for Robertson. Chooses not to go forward though, and back to Hanley instead. Now it's Gilmour who is trying to dictate things, but he's giving it away to Freuler, and then Xhaka plays it back to Akanji, edge of his box. Scotland will go and try and press him, the Man City man, but as usual he remains calm and finds the pass back to Freuler, one of Lewis Ferguson's Bologna teammates. He's played it infield. It's a poor ball for Xhaka actually, and he was under pressure. McTominay, and then Freuler again compounds the error by putting it out of play. It'll be a Scotland throw-in deep in Swiss territory on the left hand side, and well, Switzerland clearly not immune to mistakes of their own.
Well, the difference is, you know, McTominay's putting Xhaka under severe pressure there straight away, something we didn't do when the ball was rolled into midfielders in the Germany game.
It's back to the halfway line again with the Scots in possession through Hendry. Hendry looking up and plays it down the channel for Adams, who takes it on the chest. A good bit of control, and then finds Ralston, who's coming up in support. It's a poor attempted cross, but it might even find Andy Robertson over on that far side. It wasn't what he was attempting, I'm fairly sure, but it does remain in Scotland possession. And now it's Tierney about 30 yards from goal, back the way to Hanley. Scotland get plenty of players in an advanced position as Gilmour plays it into McTominay in a central area. Now back with McGregor. An overload out on the left hand side with Tierney and Robertson. Robertson has it, back with McTominay now, midway inside the Swiss half. Better possession here from Scotland. Can they do anything meaningful with it? It's now Hendry out to the right hand side. Ralston again quickly pressurised, has to go back the way. They've clearly identified that as something that's worthwhile doing, putting Tony Ralston under pressure in that right wing back position.
It is out, and do you know why? Because Tony Ralston is a right back. He's not a wing back, and it's so apparent in this game, and I don't mean to discredit him because he's a really good footballer, but what is so clear is that he is much more comfortable receiving the ball with the game ahead of him.
Robertson making a good run. Akanji comes across to nod it behind for a corner. Terrific ball over the top there from Tierney. Robertson was on the run and he couldn't quite get there ahead of Akanji, but Scotland do have a corner after 40 minutes. 1-1.
It just helps with Robertson's starting position. He's already 50 yards in front of Tierney until he plays that pass. It was really good defending from Akanji to get across, but it's something again we didn't see in the Germany game. He was back in beside Tierney in the Germany game.
Yeah.
Scotland looking to move back in front before half time as McTominay goes across to the left hand side to take this corner. What can he produce here? A couple of runs to the near post. He swings it in, back post. Adams is there. Sommer clutches at the second attempt. They're claiming for a corner. I don't think it did go behind as Sommer grabbed it second time around. It was a good move. Everyone was attracted to the near post. Adams was lurking at the back post, but he couldn't quite get it. Sneak it past Sommer, and here comes Switzerland at the other end, right hand side. They're coming forward. Is Widmer on that right flank, plays a good ball in, it's just over Ndoye, and Ralston will pick up at the back post here and try and play it down the right flank. Adams looking to make a nuisance of himself. Ebisher and he both hit the deck. The referee just says 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Get on with it. And the Swiss have done that. Here's the goal scorer, Shaqiri. Out to the left-hand side for Ndoye, up against Ralston, into the penalty area he comes. Ralston back-pedalling, Ndoye still has it, knocks it back now. Xhaka goes for goal, pushed away by Angus Gunn. Gets good distance on it, but it will come out to the right-hand side, and it's back into the area. Overhead kick attempt in there, doesn't come off, but Scotland still having to defend. Switzerland pick up once more through Rodriguez, midway inside the Scotland half, out to Ebisher, left-hand side. Ndoye quickly closed down by Gilmour. It's end-to-end stuff in the closing stages of this first period. 1-1 it stands.
Yeah, it's intense, it really is. Billy Gilmour, I would need to say, he's been brilliant in this half. A couple of moments, yes, a couple of misplaced passes, but he's looking to cover every blade of grass.
Here comes Ndoye again into the penalty area, trying to get past Hendry. He just hits the deck far too easily. Very hopeful if he's looking for a penalty for that. He just was brushed by Hendry and he hit the deck. But Switzerland have possession back once more. Ebisher plays it down the left, maybe an offside against Vargas. Yes, says the assistant on the far side. The flag goes up. Scotland be kick. 42.5 played. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
The game's been weird, you know. We started it so well, and then Switzerland came right back into it, and then the last 5 minutes there, we had a good wee spell. We started to look at a threat again, and you're just concerned every time Switzerland go forward. You're kind of concerned a wee bit. They look very, very dangerous, and we don't look overly convincing defensively.
Scotland free kick then just outside their own penalty area to be taken by Angus Gunn, who on the whole has had a good game, a couple of good saves. Slightly worrying moment when Ndoye knocked the ball into the net, but it was offside. So it's 1-1 as Adams tries to bring it under control. He's had more impact in this game, certainly more touches of the ball, that's for sure. He didn't manage one at all in the opposition box, but Ndoye here almost poking it beyond the last Scotland defender, but he's just slightly too heavy, and it goes all the way through to Angus Gunn. We've got just under a couple of minutes left to half-time. 1-1 it stands. Here's Gilmore, sorry there.
No, I was just going to say it's been a bit of a scrappy game, hasn't it? Although it's hard to believe we're 43 and a half minutes played, I just feel like it's gone by in a flash. I don't know how the players must be feeling out there, whether they feel that they've had any sort of control over the first half. There's certainly a lot more positives for us to take forward in the game.
Scotland have it deep in their own half. It's Kieran Tierney out to the left-hand side for Robertson. Back with Tierney. Midway inside his own half. Sure, if you'd offered Steve Clarke a 1-1 at half-time, he'd probably have taken it. Certainly probably would take that at full-time as well. And it's pretty much the scoreline a lot of us have discussed as being a relatively likely outcome. Maybe not anymore, but 1-1 it stands in the final minute of the 45, with probably 2 or 3 to add for a couple of stoppages that there's been. Tierney brings it forward and finds his former Celtic teammate Callum McGregor, the highly decorated Celtic captain. Back to Tierney now, about 15 yards inside the Scotland half. Scotland just slowing it down. They've actually, the ball possession now stands at 44% in Scotland's favour, which is significantly more than when I last mentioned it about 20 minutes ago. So they have had a little bit more control of the ball as the ball is turned back to Angus Gunn inside the penalty area. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and on Sounds. Remember, you've got our daily football podcast on Sounds. We're bringing you all the news from the Euros on a daily basis. As Jack Hendry gets his head to the ball under pressure there from Vargas. He barges him in the back there. There's the Swiss player, and it'll be a cheap Scotland free kick right on the halfway line, more or less, as I'm not sure, did the fourth official show 3 minutes? I didn't see a board, I saw it.
3
minutes.
3 minutes, I think it was out.
Yeah. So 3 minutes to half-time as Scotland prepare to take this free kick from just inside their own half. Austin McPhee and Steve Clarke out on the edge of the technical area. The fourth official saying only one of you is supposed to be out here, and ushering one of them back, but neither of them taking much heed as Jack Hendry prepares to play this one into the Swiss half from the dead ball situation up towards the edge of the penalty area. McGinn is challenging for it, does get his head to it, but it's easily picked up by Vidmer just inside his penalty area. Ndoye can't make anything of the ball forward. He's complaining to the referee, but I mean, there's nothing remotely wrong with what Kieran Tierney was doing there, and Scotland have the ball back. It's Billy Gilmour and Callum McGregor, the two controllers in the middle of the park, both of them so comfortable in tight situations, and it's assuring to have them both in there, and they've begun to get a bit of control, as I say, as the half is worn on. But it's 1-1 as Ralston picks up and he comes back in field and is under a bit of pressure there from Ebisher. He eventually goes down. It'll be a Scotland free kick midway inside their own half, taken quickly by McGregor.
Every time Tony Ralston receives the ball, he's running back towards his own goal, and he starts going in the park, and you worry for him because he's looking for options. He never receives the ball on the half turn and opens it up to go forward.
Nor does he ever use his left foot, Tom. It's something I've never quite seen anything like it. He's driving inside the pitch, and at no point just turn the ball into a channel, turn the ball into a striker. Shea Adams is looking for the ball.
Tierney goes long again. Robertson again is in a very high position. Kanji will be there first, and he pretends he's going to head it, and then he just lets the ball drop onto his thigh and knocks it back to Jan Sommer, who will clear first time left-footed. Out of play, obviously didn't fancy that one on his left foot, and it's out of play for a Scotland throw midway inside the Swiss half, right-hand side, to be taken by Ralston. Back the way to Hendry. But 30 seconds of added on time left to play at the end of this first period. 1-1 between Scotland and Switzerland in the second game in Group A for both these sides. Hanley now plays it down the right-hand side. He's actually an awful lot of Tony Ralston there. Far too much in the end, out of play. And there won't be too much more action, I don't think, in this first period. Scotland starting really well out the traps very quickly, getting the opening goal. But they were pegged back after a Ralston mistake. And that's why it's one apiece heading into the half-time interval. As Rodriguez prepares to take this throw in deep in his own half, left-hand side, and there's the referee's half-time whistle. Scotland, well, they were quickly off the mark. 13 minutes it took Scott McTominay to notch the opening goal after a terrific break forward that involved Robertson and McGregor. McGregor's ball back to Scott McTominay. He lashed it goalwards. It looked like it was on target. Fabian Schär deflected it beyond Jan Sommer. And that put the Scots in front in a terrific position, and they were looking good, albeit the Swiss began to come more and more into it. And then an unforced error from Anthony Ralston. He played a blind pass effectively back towards his own box. Didn't see Xherdan Shaqiri there. Shaqiri latched onto it and, without looking really, from about 25 yards, just lofted the ball into the top corner beyond Angus Gunn. A really classy finish from the Swiss veteran to equalise for the Swiss. Switzerland then went on to have the better of the play beyond that, but then Scotland just gradually grew more into it without really troubling Jan Sommer too much in the Swiss goal. It's still very much all to play for, and certainly better from Scotland, but it couldn't have got much worse after Friday, let's be honest. But in Cologne at half-time, it's Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
Scotland versus Switzerland. Sports Sound, live from Cologne.
And that could be monumental!
Bringing UEFA Euro 2024 home.
Listen on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds. This is where it begins, here.
On BBC iPlayer, you'll find what you love.
Here comes the cavalry.
I'm Detective Sergeant Rebus.
And love what you find.
Oh my gosh, it's all come down to me. Who do I choose?
Discover gripping thrillers.
You serious?
Yeah, it's looking good, actually.
Or comedy box sets.
Oh yeah, very good. I'll bring my kids. Make a day of it.
Live stream BBC TV.
Unbelievable!
And binge watch brilliant shows.
This is good. We're going to have some fun.
The best way to watch TV.
Push the button.
BBC iPlayer.
Certainly a gripping game here in Cologne this evening. Scotland won, Switzerland won. The stadium packed full, so much colour, and my goodness, there's been plenty in the opening 45 minutes. We've heard a lot from Stephen Thompson and Leanne Crichton. We'll get more thoughts from them. We'll bring in the Scotland striker Lyndon Dykes in just 1 minute. He's rejoined us. Thanks very much for doing that, Lyndon. First of all, let's go back to Willie Miller. He's watching the game back in Aberdeen. What did you make of that first half, Willie?
Well, a really good start. The guys have been saying that. I think that's what was required, early on, and getting themselves up the park and engaging with the opposition and winning corners. So for 10-15 minutes, and then you get the goal as well. Listen, I don't know what Schär is thinking about. That is a dolly for Sommer. It's not a great strike. The goalkeeper's right behind it. He's taking it in the midriff. He's got his hands down. It's going nowhere near the back of the net, and then the defender sticks his toe on it, and thankfully for us we get a little bit of good fortune. You then felt that the Swiss started to take control of the game, and we didn't have the same intensity. I thought that the back three, back five were going far too deep and needed to push up, and the Swiss gained a lot of the possession and a lot of the impetus going forward, and the goal was just sensational. Okay, Anthony Ralston, he'll hold his hand up. It was a poor pass back, but Shaqiri, I mean, they don't come much better than that, I would suggest, with the left foot. And Angus Gunn nowhere near it, absolutely nowhere near it. He couldn't. That is going with, so much intensity, so much speed, and it's right in the top corner. So no blaming the goalkeeper on that one. Anthony Ralston, yeah, he'll be regretting making that pass inside. But in terms of the quality of the goal, it's right up there. It definitely is world class. Listen, we come back into it towards the end of the first half as well. It looked as though maybe the Swiss were going to control it. A lot of possession. I think it was 72% at one time, but we fought back and we're looking, a lot happier going towards the end of the first half. So good game of football for me. The guys were saying a bit scrappy, but at least there was intent there. I think there has been good tempo to the game from both sides. Good intent from both sides as well. So enjoying the first half, and probably a fair enough result, I would say, at half-time.
Yeah, a very tough one to call. Lyndon Dykes has joined us here in a commentary position in Cologne, high above the dugouts here in the main stand. Lyndon, thanks very much for coming back on to Sports. And what did you make of that opening 45?
I think it was a good start. You could see that we're controlling the ball a lot much more with the midfield. The three of them, McTominay, McGregor and Billy, obviously doing very well all together, moving well. We obviously got a bit fortunate with the goal, but it was a great counter from our own defending our own box from a corner. Great movement from everyone getting forward. You've seen everyone running forward there. Billy started off with a great touch. Robbo, great pace getting up the pitch, and Cal McGregor with a little bit of cool calm and right in that box there. You could easily lash that straight across, but he took a touch and looked for McTominay. Obviously Swiss came into it a little bit at the end there. Unfortunate for Ralston. Look, it's a top finish. I don't even think anyone expected him to hit him first time, and an absolute peach of a goal. And we took a little bit after that to get back into it, but we have to make sure we have to not give too much away. Obviously they had another chance and they scored it, but luckily VAR was on our side.
Yeah, a real energy, I think it's fair to say, Lyndon, about this performance here in Cologne. You said Andy Robertson getting right high up the park, and McTominay looks back to his best tonight, right on it.
Yeah, definitely. I think it just all helps that we're trying to press forward. Boys are getting forward, and there's just options on the ball. You see McTominay getting in good spaces up high, and when the boys have the ball, there's chances to pass. Billy getting on the ball, passing it. The defenders win the ball back, there's chances to pass. So that's what I think we've definitely improved on tonight, and that's helping everyone, and then it's helping us get forward because we've got bodies up high. I think we probably should maybe get a little bit McGinn, maybe a bit more on the ball. And I think Shea's been doing well on that left side. I think Rodriguez has got a yellow card and looks a bit dodgy, so maybe we can get onto him a little bit more. But I think all in all we can take the positives and make sure we tighten up and don't give any more chances away.
It's a good point, Stephen, isn't it, about John McGinn? We've not heard his name often enough because you know the quality he's got in this first half. And I was saying before the game, I think I said on Friday night, feeling sorry is the wrong term, but it's been so tough for Anthony Ralston, hasn't it, in these two games? Every time he gets that ball, he's immediately under pressure.
Yeah, but I mean, the goal's just it's an error. I feel when he's receiving the ball, he's always coming back the way, and it's because he's under pressure, he's doing that. But maybe his starting position's wrong because he's always having to come back the pitch, and then he's getting himself in one or two wee bits of trouble into a wee bit of a fanko. It's definitely the left-hand side's been good for us in the first half. Robertson's made a lot of really good runs. His starting position's been much higher this evening. He's looked a real threat. His impact for the goal was absolutely brilliant. The energy he showed, it was brilliant from Billy Gilmour in the middle of the pitch as well, and McTominay made a 90-yard run to get up at the edge of the box. So it was a brilliant goal, albeit a wee bit of a deflection. I feel as though defensively at times we've looked a wee bit suspect. A couple of dodgy passes, and they've opened us up once or twice. Maybe we're a wee bit fortunate with the one that got called offside from VAR because it's inches. But by and large, I'm really pleased with the first half. I think we've shown an awful lot more energy, an awful lot more intent in forward areas. Getting John on the ball has been an issue in this half without a shadow of a doubt. He's really struggled to find the space to get the ball turned and drive like he's so good at with the ball and cause problems. But I feel as though Billy Gilmour's been excellent in the middle of the pitch. His composure on the ball, his passing, excellent. But the amount of, Leanne talked about during comments, the amount of work he's putting in has been phenomenal. So there's lots to be positive about. I mean, it's to be in it 1-1 at half time. If the game finishes 1-1, it's a great result. It's a great result, but we are capable of creating more opportunities in this second half. I just worry because at times when Switzerland do click, they look very, very good.
Well, on that point, Len, it's important to applaud, to appreciate good play. That move they had in 32 minutes was absolutely
brilliant, wasn't it?
Electric. Yeah, and you're matched by a great save from Angus Gunn, but it was just a reminder, wasn't it, what this team's capable of.
Aye, they're a good side, look, and I think that's probably where they're at their best, is when you go and open up against them. They'll move the ball really slick, 1 and 2 touch passing. They've got a lot of pace in their side, a lot of intent to get from one end of the pitch to the other. But I mentioned it in commentary, I just feel still there's a nervousness about Scotland that perhaps is just offering the Swiss just a bit more of an incentive than you would like to be giving them at certain points. For me, a couple of cheap corners, which I think at any level of the game, set pieces you always identify as a huge opportunity to go and score in matches. In Scotland have probably given away 2 or 3 that were easily avoidable. Thomas touched on the positives there in terms of individuals, but I just feel either we need to sacrifice, looking at it, this right-hand side, as I've mentioned about Tony Ralston, either you sacrifice him and he tucks in almost as a right-back and moves into the pitch centrally, which then allows you to be much more aggressive in that left-hand side of the pitch, where Andy Robertson can go and get a bit more success, get 40-50 yards higher up the pitch and push Kieran Tierney on with him and use Ralston as the anchor. Because for me, Tony Ralston doesn't want to be that high in the game at any point. That's why every time he receives it, his body is closed off, and every pass that he makes virtually goes back the way, which I know it's a slack back pass, but what the Swiss had identified beforehand was that that's his most common choice of pass. So when he gets his head down, Shaqiri's already locked onto the fact that the ball's going to arrive. Yes, it's a world-class finish, it's absolutely top drawer. Angus Gunn doesn't stand a chance, but I just feel Scotland need to be a bit smarter, because we've lost. We need to put our hands up. We don't have Aaron Hickey there, we don't have Nathan Patterson, who are 2 really strong attacking wing-backs stroke full-backs. Anthony Ralston, for me, is not that same type of player, so you can't ask him to do the same type of job. I think somebody else needs to then come and fill that void, whether it is a midfielder popping into that wide area, or you rely on Shea Adams a bit more to go and spin the channel and then allow your central midfielders to go and take that space centrally. But there's so many positives in terms of just the energy that the players showed, just being a lot braver. Absolutely loving Billy Gilmour in there. Lyndon described him as a baller.
Yeah.
His touch, he's Callum McGregor, 100% passing in the first half. Gilmour, he's covered the most amount of distance out of both teams. You can see that Scotland have got a bit more about them, but I just feel this Swiss side will punish you if you allow them.
Yeah, and we saw a half chance, didn't we, for Shea Adams just towards the half time there, Lyndon. You know, it wasn't a full chance, it was at the back post. He's feeding off scraps tonight. He's working really hard.
Yeah, he's definitely working hard. I think obviously he got that half chance off a corner, which is obviously where we can score from corners, and it's you've seen early doors we won a few back-to-back, which was good for the boys. They got the confidence up. The crowd was loving us being up high. But yeah, it's a tough role. I think we just have to believe that we can get forward. We did when we scored the goal. You've seen the numbers getting forward, and it ended in a goal. But we have to make sure we don't open up too much, because like the guys are saying here, the Swiss obviously have got great players. The front three are kind of rotating all three positions. Shaqiri is kind of dropping in, but when he gets involved, you know, he does something special. And again, that goal was a great finish.
Yeah, it was world class, Willie. As you said, Anthony Ralston mistake aside, what have you made of the defensive setup tonight?
I think it's looked quite solid. I feel that they've defended the box particularly well. You know, the corners that the Swiss began to pile up, you know, once he took control of the game after that first 15 minutes or so. And actually the goal came from McTominay being superb in the box and clearing the header, and then deciding to rampage forward and get on the end of the other side, the other end of the pitch. Yeah, I agree with what Leanne's saying about Anthony Ralston. He's just not, you know, I don't think he's used to playing as wide as what he's playing. You know, I think when he's on that byline, every touch is in the park, as you've already discussed, and he looks nervous too. And there's a great point that Leanne actually mentioned there. Why not sacrifice him and ask him to be that defensive player and tuck in and allow the left-hand side to be your creative side? I think that would work really well for us. I agree with Gilmour and McGregor. I think they give you. Whenever we've had control of the game, it's because these two are on the ball, and they do give you that control and that accuracy. So all in all, I think the first half, there's a lot to be liked in the first half, and looking forward to the second.
Yeah, just final thoughts to yourself briefly. Linden would take a point. I think we'd all accept that now and go for it, the final game against Hungary. But we've seen enough here tonight to believe they can't actually take more, can't we?
100%. I think we all want to draw, but I think we should be going for the 3 points. I think they're here to be taken. We played well. I think maybe we should try and penetrate a little bit more their back line, get the boys forward, get McGinn, Shea on the ball, keep the ball with Billy and Cal, but when it's on to get the ball forward, we should try that a little bit more, get McTominay in the pocket turning, and keep the pressure on them.
Good stuff. Thanks for your time again. Lyndon Dykes joining us live on Sports. And let's get back to your commentary team of Stephen Thompson, Leanne Crichton and Al Lamond.
Thanks again, Kenny. Good to hear from Lyndon there. Switzerland about to get us back underway, going from left to right in this second half. No changes to either side from the starting 11s. So as you were, as the game is about to resume at one apiece, and all to play for. A point would put Switzerland in a terrific position in terms of going through and qualifying, and it wouldn't be a bad result at all for Scotland, as they would then go into the game against Hungary knowing a victory would pretty much certainly take them through. It's out for a throw-in down on this near side to Switzerland as they come forward down the right, and it's going to be Widmer, Sylvain Widmer, to take it. Quickly done, and he gets it back from Freuler, and he plays it off Andy Robertson. It's an early corner in this second period inside the first 30 seconds or so on the right hand side as Switzerland look to move in front for the first time in the game, and it's the magical left foot of Xherdan Shaqiri who will swing this one in. We've seen already his deliveries are dangerous, but his finish, it's just really appreciating the replay of the finish at half-time there as the ball does come in. It's headed away by McTominay, not for the first time, comes back out to Vargas, right-hand side. He plays it off the back of McGregor, and it'll be yet another Swiss corner here on the right-hand side. Shaqiri again now down in front of the adoring Swiss fans on that right-hand side. Shaqiri then plays this one short to Vargas. Out comes McGregor, but it ball is quickly played into Freuler. Back to Shaqiri, just a different angle, and the offside flag is up. Came off the head of Jack Hendry, but the assistant points for the offside and the free kick to Scotland. I just wonder, Leanne, I've done it 2 or 3 times, Scotland only putting Callum McGregor out when there's an obvious overload now. So they've obviously just, they know that it's a possibility, but they've obviously decided we're not going to put another player out there.
Yeah, I think they've clearly identified that will be the option, but I think they've allowing themselves just enough time to adapt in terms of the type of delivery. Now, when the Swiss play that short corner, it's almost like they're just looking to change the point of attack as opposed to try and use the overload that is in that wide area. They're still looking to get the ball into the box, so I assume that Austin McPhee's identify that as being a more weaker target area, if you like, and by the time the ball then travels to Freuler, who's at the edge of the box, if they do manage to utilise the overload there, generally a Billy Gilmer or one of the midfielders is managing to go and close that space. So thankfully the Swiss haven't been able to capitalise on it just yet.
Yeah. So throw into Scotland over on the far side. 47 minutes played. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1 here in the Cologne Stadium. The second match day for Scotland and Switzerland in Group A. One apiece it stands as Scotland prepares to take this throw, and Ralston into his Celtic teammate McGregor. Back to Ralston and then back onto the halfway line and onto the chest of Hanley, who brings it out to the left-hand side to Tierney. Tierney on the halfway line. Slides it into McGinn, who gets turned away from Scher, just back it in, hits the deck. Free kick goes Scotland's way. Scher can't believe it. At last, John McGinn getting on the ball, getting on the half turn, and just using his physicality and strength to win that free kick, Stephen Thompson.
Yeah, you could see he was keen to get turned, and it was a definite foul. The referee was looking at it for about 3 or 4 seconds before he actually gave it. John was backing in, doing what he always does. He eventually loses balance, but there was a foul just previous to that. Yeah, he needs to do more of that. He needs to get turned and get driving at the Swiss backline. Good opportunity this though. Andy Robertson over it for us.
Andy Robertson again listening to Austin McPhee, who's right out at the edge of the technical area, the set piece expert in the Scotland coaching team. Here is Robertson, left hand side. It's not a great delivery, it's headed away. It'll come back to Robertson, who plays it to Tierney, goes all the way back to Angus Gunn, who's about 10 yards outside his box. But disappointing delivery there from the skipper, but Gunn's knocked it back up towards the Swiss penalty area. Adams does well, then Robertson latches onto it. He can't keep control of it. He hits the deck looking for a free kick, but it was very, very optimistic, and it's out for a Scotland throw-in and no more.
That was definitely optimistic from Andy Robertson. Nothing really in it.
He knew he wasn't going to get hold of the ball.
Just a bit of contact with Freuler's arm, just going across the body. But you're right, Al, just with the quality for the couple of set-piece opportunities that Scotland have had with the wide free kicks, just no real conviction in it, no real threat.
Tierney then lining up a long throw-in, more or less in line with the 18-yard box, and it comes left-hand side, away by Akanji outside the penalty area. Hanley and McGregor are almost getting in each other's way there. Comes back outside the box, but flicked back by Robertson. McTominay trying to get something on it. McTominay challenging Akanji. Akanji's gone down, he's still down. The referee's halting play. There's not a head injury. No. Why does he have to stop play?
He doesn't, he absolutely doesn't, unless he thought it was a head injury. Akanji landed. No, Akanji wins the header, then lands really awkwardly. Yeah, but it's not, it definitely should have been stopped. We were in possession as well.
So infuriating that at times, regardless almost of the teams involved. I'm not just saying this because it was Scotland in possession, but Akanji goes down, but players go down all the time. You can't stop the game every time a player goes down.
No, yeah, exactly. I can see Scott McTominay's just been booked for making that exact point to the referee.
Well, possibly because these players are not supposed to speak to the referee.
I know, but he's not doing it. He's not being aggressive or anything. I totally get the whole bit about surrounding the referee and maybe being over-aggressive and in the face. Scott McTominay's just asking the question, probably the same way we're sitting discussing it here.
Drop ball then to the Scots. Robertson goes back the way to Hanley. Hanley from just inside the Swiss half goes into the penalty area. Ralston was the target, doesn't get anything on it, and it's tamely behind for a goal kick to Switzerland. But a decent start again to the half from the Scots, you'd have to say. After 51 minutes, it's one apiece.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Switzerland had that wee run of corners right at the turn of the second half, the beginning of the second half, but again, it's been ebbing and flowing, the control of the game. The whole match has been like that. One team is a spell, then the other.
Jan Sommer knocks it over the halfway line. Hanley should be in charge of this, just turns it back to Angus Gunn, who stays calm and just knocks it to the side to Kieran Tierney. Darren Doy coming off second best in that challenge as he tried to close Angus Gunn down and just rebounds off the big Norwich City keeper. Scotland coming forward down the right hand side. Here's Hendry looking in the channel for McTominay, who's a glance and then chests it down. Akanji with him. McTominay's done really well to get it to Ralston. Now it's Gilmore midway inside the Swiss half, back in field to McGregor. Early ball for Tierney and out to the left hand side for Robertson. Good quick passing from Scotland. It's Robertson looking to take on Vidmer on the outside, just plays it off him. It'll be a throw into Scotland about 5 yards from the corner flag. Robertson looking to take it quickly. He's done that back to Tierney midway inside the Swiss half. Now it's McGregor back to Tierney. Tierney will go back to Hanley on the halfway line and look to just change the angle once more as Hendry picks up halfway line. Ralston's outside of him. Hendry's been quickly closed down there by Vargas, and fortunately for Scotland it didn't really come to anything, but the move breaks down certainly, and now it's out for a Swiss throw in. 52 played. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
Yeah, just a couple of dodgy moments there. Jack Hendry first, and then Grant Hanley slipping as he made the clearance, but you're right, nothing coming of it.
Rodriguez back in field to Akanji. Lyndon Dykes was making a point there at half-time about Rodriguez. He's on a yellow, and he hasn't looked all that sure of himself. Is that something that, like, Shea Adams does look like he's playing on him? Is that maybe the weak point in that back line?
I think you need to go and identify that, certainly, and get after it. I think Scott McTominay just a moment or two ago as well, he went as that kind of late run from midfield and looked to try and get on top of Rodriguez as well. And you need to ask questions of them. I say that all the time. As soon as a player's on a yellow card, look to try and commit them as much as you possibly can, because we know, especially at this level of the game, the referees can be quite rash.
Billy Gilmore just over hitting a 1-2 pass for McTominay. It's out of play for a Swiss throw-in, which is taken by Vidmer back to Fabian Scher. Saw a a tweet at half-time. I knew that Xherdan Shaqiri had scored in the last 3 Euros now. Apparently he's the only player to have scored in the last 3 Euros and the last 3 World Cup, which is quite something, you'd have to say. He hasn't done all that much else in the game, but I mean,
you can see his quality. There's been a couple of occasions where he's just done wee one-touch passes or layoffs, and he's very, very comfortable on the ball. Very intelligent footballer.
Yeah, here he is in possession on the right-hand side, just flicks it back to Scher, who plays it infield to Freuler now. Shaqiri again closed down by McGregor, back to Scher. He's going to be closed down there by Adams, but he gets the pass down the right hand side. Robertson gets his head to Hendry, will take one touch and then knock it back to Angus Gunn inside his own penalty area. Gunn first time up to the halfway line. McTominay beaten in there by Xhaka. Switzerland pick up possession through Ebischer. Ebischer has it back. He hasn't been as influential as he was in that first game against Hungary. But here's Akanji now on the edge of the centre circle, clips it out to the left-hand side. It's a good ball, and it's Rodriguez picking up. Rodriguez now left-hand side into Xhaka. Xhaka just tries to slide it in behind Hendry, and Doy just goes into the back of Hendry, does he? The referee has a look at it, but it's going to be a corner kick. No, not enough contact, he felt, on Hendry. He was desperate for the free kick to be given, but Switzerland have a corner instead.
Yeah, I felt the exact same, to be honest with you. I don't think there was enough to put Hendry to the ground. Probably good refereeing in the end, although it's against us.
So corner kick left-hand side for Switzerland. 1-1 it stands, 55 minutes played in the Cologne Stadium. Corner taken short. McGregor will go out there once more on his own, and swung into the danger area. Hanley gets a header clear as far as Xhaka, who will try and recycle it out to Rodriguez on the left-hand side. Switzerland looking to move in front for the first time in the game. They did have the ball in the net for a second time in the first half, but it was an offside against Ndoye. As the VAR worked in Scotland's favour. It's Ebischer in possession of the ball just inside the Scotland half. Now Xhaka in a lot of space. He plays it out to Scher, right hand side of the penalty area. He'll knock it into the box all the way across to the left hand side. Shot could be on here, and it comes. Good handling by Gunn. It was a low shot, it bounced just in front of him in the 6-yard box, but he was able to grasp that and keep control of the ball, and so it remains after 56 minutes. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
Yeah, straightforward enough in the end for Angus Gunn, but certainly coming through the legs of Andy Robertson, which can always be a tricky one for a goalkeeper, just to see it at the last second almost, but he handles it well. Scotland fans as well getting into full voice, just trying to give the players a lift.
Ruben Vargas it was who took that shot from just outside the penalty area, well held by Angus Gunn. Yeah, I mean, the Tartan Army with that incredible backing as they sing the national anthem. And I know it has its statistics as a national anthem, as a song, but I mean, when you hear it sung by 25, 30,000 Scotland fans in an arena like this, it's just something else.
That's brilliant. I absolutely love it, to be fair.
It's Hanley, midway inside his own half, plays it to Kieran Tierney. Nothing to choose between the sides in this second half as Gilmour plays it back to Tierney, who's quickly pressed by Ndoye, and he was fouled, in fact, as he played the ball back to Angus Gunn, and it will be a Scotland free kick just a few yards outside the penalty area. Switzerland 20 places higher in the FIFA rankings than Scotland. In fact, that's their lowest position since September 2012, and that's as a result of the fact that they are serial qualifiers for these major tournaments. With Scotland matching them in the opening almost hour, and it's the Scots fans who are in better voice at this particular stage as their team look to try and get ahead once more. John McGinn again picking up on that left-hand side, knocked out of play, and it will be a Scotland throw-in. Midway inside the Switzerland half, Robertson takes it back to Tierney. Tierney will use Hanley, who just deepens and plays it square to Hendry. Again, they'll try and just go from side to side, forward looking for Adams. He won't get there. Rodriguez knocks it away, and now it's Vargas through the middle looking for Ndoye with Tierney. Ndoye's done really well. Ndoye's put it wide. He should have scored. And Kieran Tierney, I think, he's done.
Oh, no.
Oh, Kieran Tierney's done. He immediately is called for the physio, and he's hurt himself in trying to keep Ndoye out. In fact, Ndoye got the better of him, but he should have scored.
Gone, I think. And Ndoye's got to score. He's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. All right, he's very straight. He doesn't have an angle. Does Angus Gunn get a touch with his glove? on that replay.
Yeah, I'll get a better look at it again.
But Kieran Tierney, this is terrible news for Scotland. He went straight down holding his hamstring. He knew straight away. So you imagine you'll see McKenna coming on for him now, but if it's a bad one, then that's the end of his tournament. That's really, really disappointing for Scotland.
Oh, it's agonising for Kieran Tierney. He's had such a bad time of it, even this season through injuries. But he's come back time after time. But yeah, as Stephen says, his tournament is almost certainly over. Switzerland also going to make a change. This one is not enforced though, and it's Xherdan Shaqiri, the goal scorer, who's going to be replaced by a man who got the third goal the other night, Priel Mbolo. He's not played a whole lot of football himself because of injury this season, but he's back and he's on the field of play. Let's hear from Jane Lewis, who you wouldn't have been too far away from that Kieran Tierney injury, Jane.
Yeah, I've got a great view of it. He's absolutely distraught. He put his face into his hands and into the ground as well. He's been consoled by Jack Hendry and Grant Hanley as well. He's now in a stretcher, as you can see. The medics are around him as well as they're going to carry him off. He's got his hands over his face. He is absolutely distraught. I mean, it looks like a bad one. If straight away, as Tomo said, he went down clutching his left hamstring, I think it was. He's got his arms over his eyes, over his face. Oh, he is feeling this one, not just probably because of the pain from the hamstring, but because of the pain, the fact that it looks like he knows maybe his tournament is going to be over. Oh, this is devastating scenes for Kieran Tierney. He's been carried off. He is not. Oh, I feel so sorry for him, Al. He's just covering his hands, covering his face, absolutely just desolate, absolutely just distraught.
Yeah, it's Scott McKenna who's going to come on. Andy Robertson going across to see Kieran Tierney on the stretcher and just try to console him, but Kieran Tierney spent a little bit of time out with him in San Sebastian earlier this season, and he's a good guy as well, Stephen. You don't like to see anyone injured, but Kieran Tierney's had a bad time of it.
He has had a really tough time with injury, and he's such an important player for us, so it's really, really bad news. But it gives Scott McKenna an opportunity to go into the left-hand side of the three. Yeah, I mean, he'll be comfortable. He'll be comfortable enough in there.
So an enforced change for Scotland, McKenna for Tierney, and a tactical one as Shaqiri is replaced by Mbolo for the final, what is now 29 minutes, but there will be, of course, time added on at the end, so a good bit, half an hour plus left to play. 1-1 it stands as the ball's out on the far side for a throw-in. Looked like it should have been a Scotland one, but it's been given by the referee in favour of Switzerland on the left-hand side, about 15-20 yards inside Scotland half. So Scotland just have to put, again, that bad news out of their minds, refocus.
It was a big let-off as well.
Oh my goodness, so it was.
He really should be scoring that. And it came from a slack pass from Hendry, then the ball up in the air wasn't dealt with particularly well by Tierney. And he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, 16, 17 yards out. He's got to hit the target. I'm sure Angus Gunn gets a slightest touch to it.
Yeah, and Doy with a glorious opportunity. You were sure that the Swiss were going to go ahead there, but from just inside the penalty area, he just dragged it wide, and it remains Scotland 1, Switzerland 1 here on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland. If you're listening, you can listen on BBC Sounds as you can with our daily football podcast. If you subscribe and get your notifications on, then you won't miss a single episode. Throw in to Switzerland on this near side, the Swiss right, back the way it goes, just over the halfway line to Scher. Just get the feeling that, well, if anyone's got the edge, it's Switzerland. They do seem that bit more dangerous.
We've not looked a threat, and that's the only thing in this second half, Alistair. Scotland, we've not managed to get up the pitch and put any pressure on the Swiss back line. Can't think of any chances in this second half.
No, very limited. I just feel this is the type of game that Scotland do need to be wary about and just manage this next 10 minutes or so, because even just the change in Kieran Tierney, it's one that's been forced upon them. I don't think, as we've touched on, Anthony Ralston looks the most confident on the right-hand side. So I think just weather the storm, just allow the Swiss to have possession, don't go and vacate areas, don't go chasing the game, just be really disciplined and the chances will come, because yes, the Swiss are a good team, but they're not by any means as good as Germany were on Friday night.
Here's Vargas attacking Ralston into the penalty. He goes onto the right foot, gets the shot away, it's off target. Thankfully for Scotland, again, Ralston was backpedaling, allowing Vargas to come in. He's trying to stretch his calf off here. It's been a tough night there for Anthony Ralston on that right-hand side. And I wonder if Steve Clarke might look to make a change on that side.
It wouldn't surprise me, Alistair. He's had a tough game, but it was good play from Vargas down that left-hand side, cutting in his right foot, and he was just slightly off balance as he hit the shot. Went high over the bar, thankfully for us. But another attempt on goal from Switzerland, something we are not doing.
Yeah, well, they've had 4 on target and 9 in total to our 1 on target and just 3 in total. But at least it's certainly better than against Germany, but we still do with providing a better threat to Jan Sommer. The only one on target, of course, was the goal from Scott McTominay back in the 13th minute. Still been given by UEFA as a Fabian Schär own goal, but unless they've changed the criteria for goal scoring, then if it's on target, then it surely goes to the attacking team. Here's Gilmour in a good position, 25 yards from goal. He does hit it, but Akanji's in the way, and it's out for a throw on the far side. Billy Gilmour's only goal as a senior player came against France in the friendly. He's not renowned for his shooting ability necessarily, but might have troubled the keeper had it got past Akanji. But
it opened up really nicely for him, Alistair. He picked the ball up about 35 yards out, and there was no pressure on him. He drove forward about 5 and unleashed his shot. Unfortunately, hit the Swiss defender.
As McTominay's taken out of play by Akanji just outside the penalty area. Akanji's hurt himself in the process. He's given himself a dead leg, I think. But he took McTominay out as well, and it was only, a foot or so outside the penalty area to the right-hand side. It's a really good position, this.
That's clear cut, isn't it? Scott McTominay does really well. Just when he touches it, he anticipates that the foul from Akanji is going to come. And it's a really dangerous area, one that Scotland, they need to capitalise on it. We spoke about the quality in the dead ball situations up until now. Not really threatened the Swiss, but this is a perfect opportunity.
I'd go Robertson and just flash it left-footed right across the goalkeeper's face.
He's going to take it. That's the decision. McTominay's moving away. Tony Ralston's still stretching off his calves. No wonder he's had a tough 65 minutes. He hasn't played a whole lot of club football, remember. Anyway, this is a really good opportunity. A yard to the right of the penalty area, about 15 yards from the goal line. Andy Robertson, the Scotland captain, stands over this free kick. Scotland looking to move ahead once more. It's Robertson. Can he provide the delivery this time? It creates the opportunity. It's a good one. It's off the post. Rebounds. Scotland can't get it into the net. So unlucky. So close to a second Scotland goal. And the ball comes out to this near side, and the throw-in will go, I think, Switzerland's way. Oh my goodness, who did that come off? Let's have a look at the replay here.
Yes, Hanley at the back post.
He does so well. He does so well to get on the end of it.
I wonder whether it would have been pulled back for a foul. Does he kind of wrestle him out of the way a wee bit?
And I'm just wondering about the height of the defender's foot as well as he goes to attack it.
And the ball line was absolute top quality from Andy Robertson. He does well, Hanley, to go and attack it. Really unlucky.
Yeah, so close for Grant Hanley. He passed up a couple of opportunities against Gibraltar. That would have been something quite different had he managed to get on the score sheet of the Euros, but denied by the upright. But that's certainly lifted the atmosphere once more inside the Cologne Stadium and should give the Scots a bit more confidence. But Callum McGregor can't find John McGinn, and now come the Swiss on the counter. Schär leading that. And Bolo says he was fouled. The referee's given it. I mean, the referee's not looking at that. How does he know? And he's now booking him for McKenna. I don't think the referee was watching that at all.
He wasn't.
It's an incredible advantage he's played initially as well. He lets it go for a fair bit of time. There's not an awful lot in it for me. It's just defender against attacker. Tomo, you'll have been there as the attacker, just looking to try and gain the advantage.
Look at it now. I mean, they're both holding each other's jerseys. Nah, I don't think there's that much in that. I don't think that's worth a booking. The referee's gone on instinct there and reaction rather than actually seeing the thing.
Yeah, 100%. Breland Bolo has, I think, bought that one and got Scott McKenna a yellow card. The free kick's taken out to the left-hand side. It goes as Vargas has looked dangerous, and he's given Ralston a tough time. He's back with Vargas. Now Gilmour tries to close him down. Rodriguez back to Vargas once more. In slides Ralston. That was a good challenge, and it come off Vargas lasted it? No, the referee says no, but Vargas has stayed down after a really meaty challenge from Ralston.
Yeah, it's a strong challenge from Ralston. I think he's claiming for everything. He's wanting to throw in, but the referee's definitely giving it to the Swiss.
Yeah, it was a good tackle from Tony Ralston.
That won't do him any harm. As throw-in's taken down the left-hand side. Here's Mbolo, back to Xhaka. Out to the left-hand side for Freuler. Mbolo again will chase the ball forward. Hendry though reads it and gets to it first and prevents it from going behind for a corner kick. Adams battling away, he's done well. Now McGinn out to the right-hand side. Out of play though, John McGinn is having another off night.
He's not looked himself. He didn't in the Germany game either. We're used to seeing him being such a star for this Scotland side, but it's not been his night tonight.
I feel a bit sorry for him in the sense that he's not seen much of the ball. He's been asked to play a little bit out of the left-hand side. Here he's done well to win possession back though, and he's found Robertson, who's in an advanced position in field for Gilmore. Midway inside the Swiss half, out to the right-hand side for Ralston. Takes a touch, tries to get it into the box. He's closed down. It's a Scotland corner. Listen to the Tartan Army roar.
It's much better play, certainly from John McGinn. He gets on the ball, plays a nice reverse pass in centrally. Eventually it's Gilmore that feeds the ball out to the right-hand side. Tony Ralston's in a good position, good support play, and he's the one that looks to go and deliver it. Gets the corner, and you can feel the energy from the Tartan Army as well. Scotland find themselves in a good position just as we head into the 70th minute.
Andy Robertson then from the right-hand side, the left foot in-swinger, incoming imminently. Here it is, near post ball, it's away by Freuler. Again, it's not the best delivery, it didn't match his free kick a minute ago, and then Ralston, and trying to keep it alive, just knocked it out of play down in the far side, deep in Swiss territory, and Scotland will try and keep them hemmed in, but again, another set piece comes to nothing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, the ball he put in just moments ago for the header off the post was an exceptional ball, but his corner kick delivery has been poor this evening.
Not sure what the boos are from the Tartan Army there, as Mbolo feels to keep a hold of the ball. Then Freuler pokes it out to this near side. Vidmer, McGinn's read that. He's almost there ahead of Scher. I think he's going to get a yellow card.
No chance.
I think
no chance.
Yeah, he's going to go into the referee's notebook for the challenge there on Fabian Scher. Again, I think the Swiss player was just a little bit cute the way he went down, as McGinn, he read the pass, he was trying to cut it out, and he was just there fractionally late.
He doesn't touch him, I don't think. Oh, no, maybe he does.
No, he only touches him, I think, because Scher follows through the challenge. Look, there's nothing.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
It's not a yellow card. You
could probably see why the referee has given it from his angle, but on the slow motion, yeah, there's not enough contact for a yellow card.
No, what I will say is, though, there's a frustration about John McGinn just now, because we've just mentioned that performance-wise it's been a tough night for him again. He's now doing what John McGinn tries to do, and that's rally the crowd and bring a bit of energy, and he just needs to calm himself down, just keep himself focused on the performance, because there's still a long way to go in this game, and we know he's got the moments that he can just produce that little bit of magic. Things will start to go his way, but if he gets caught up in the atmosphere and everything that's going with it.
Well, the Tartan Army love him regardless. They know that he will always, without fail, give 100% for his country, and that is why he is adored by them. Left-hand side, Scotland have a throw-in, flicks down the left. Kanji's there to win the header. Freuler helps it on. That's going to go out of play again for another Scotland throw-in, more or less on the halfway line. Left-hand side to be taken by Scott McKenna, who's come on for the beleaguered Kieran Tierney. We just have to hope that that's not another really bad hamstring injury, but he has been beset by different types of injuries.
As he comes down, he rocks his knee as well, so I don't know whether it might be his hand. He was certainly holding the back of his leg, but his knee looked to kind of have a kind of hyperextension as well.
Scotland have got a free kick. It was McGinn who was fouled there by Vidmer, and it's a free kick on the left-hand side, a few yards in from the touchline, midway inside the Swiss half, and it's another opportunity to throw the likes of Hanley and McKenna forward. Jack Hendry will go up there as well. Scott McTominay is a good aerial threat as well. They have got a good amount of height in there as Scotland look to try and get back in front. 1-1 it stands, 73 minutes played. Robertson from the left-hand side swings it in. That's a good ball. The header comes in, but it's well off target. It was never threatening from McKenna, and it will remain Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
It's a really difficult header. I mean, there's no pace on the ball. He's about 16 yards out. He's full stretch in there to get any purchase on that towards the goal. I think Switzerland are going to make a wee double sub in a minute or two, Alistair.
Yeah, Sierra and Reader preparing to come on for them. It's going to happen now, actually, rather than wait until after the goal kick. So Freuler will be the first player to come off, Remo Freuler. And we just await the court officials board to see who else will make way. And it's going to be Vargas, Ruben Vargas, who I think's had a good game, and not too sorry, I have to say, to see him go off.
No, definitely not. Don't think the Scotland players will be too disappointed at that either. Just looking at a number of the Swiss players just inside the 6-yard box as well, taking an opportunity. They now just have a couple of choice words in terms of how they might look to try and build the play up. Scotland have been really aggressive with the press. I would need to say Shea Adams, Scott McTominay and John McGinn are the three players. It's just a front three they've created with a midfield four in behind it, and then the defensive three left remaining.
Play back underway. Just over 15 minutes of normal time remaining. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1 here in the Cologne Stadium. And it's finely balanced. Here comes Scotland with one possession back. It's good play from McKenna. Gets it back from McGinn. Now he's one inside a corner of Xhaka. And the Tartan Army behind that goal of Jan Sommers, just trying to suck the ball into the Swiss net. What a noise they're making.
Yeah, need a better delivery. It's going to be McTominay this time to swing it in. We do have good aerial threat, especially McKenna and Hanley and Hendry in there. It's all about the quality of the ball in.
McTominay then from the left-hand side, right-footed. Gilmour comes to the near post. He goes back post. It's helped back across goal by Adams. Gilmour will go up and try and win the header. He goes down, clutching his face. The Tartan Army howl for a penalty. Nothing given by the referee. Well, he's allowing Scotland to play on because they've got possession, I think. But you're right, it was a head knock. And then McGregor buys the throw-in on this near side.
We'll just get another look at it again out. Nah, there's not an awful lot in it. Two players have challenged. Fairly for the ball.
Throwing into Scotland about 20 yards from the goal line, left-hand side. Robertson takes it into McGinn. McGinn trying to find a bit of space to get the ball in. In the end, he tried to win the corner. He didn't manage to do that. And then McKenna fouls in Bolo, and it's going to be a free kick to Switzerland deep in their own territory. McKenna's just got to be careful because he has got the yellow card now.
Yeah, he's got a habit of getting really, really tight to people, and he just got far too tight there and got rolled. And when we were in a good area as well, he just needs to jockey, make him take his touch back towards his defenders.
Kanji back to his goalkeeper Jan Sommer, edge of his 6-yard box. Under a bit of pressure here from McTominay. He'll just play it short to Akanji, right-hand side. Akanji looks forward, turns away from McTominay. Such a cool customer. Plays it short to Xhaka. Xhaka back to his goalkeeper. Scotland pressing hard and high. Adams can't quite get there before Sommer gets it forward to Ndoye, who's going to cross the play on that left-hand side with Reader playing where he was in the right flank. And here is Ndoye, left-hand side, coming up to the halfway line. Plays it infield to his fellow substitute Sierra, who's in the centre of the park alongside Xhaka now. Here's Akanji just outside the centre circle. We've got 13 of normal time to play, 1-1 as Rodriguez brings it forward down the left-hand side for Switzerland, making good ground here up against Ralston, right up to the edge of the box, not challenged yet. Now it's Ebischer, back to Rodriguez. Ebischer once more out to the left-hand side for Ndoye. Trying to test Ralston here, comes on the inside, he gets the shot off, it takes a deflection, did it? On its way, no, the referee's pointed for a goal kick. I thought that took a nick, but it was a wild effort from
Tony
Ndoye.
Ralston's got to come off.
He's absolutely done.
Absolutely.
His legs, he cannot move his feet. Watching him backtrack and trying to jockey an attacker and defend against it for the last 15 minutes, his legs have been gone.
He's treading more, absolutely treading more. I think they'll look at either McCrory. Well, I don't know who they'll go with.
Really ought to be McCrory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or maybe Forrest. I suppose if they want to be particularly adventurous and go for this victory, but
Kenny McLean, is it? It's ready to come on. Perhaps down there. Yep, Kenny McLean is going to come on.
Will that be the swap?
The might shuffle the pack slightly. We'll get a look at it.
I reckon they have to. Let's wait and see. And Doy's fouled by Hendry, says the referee, and it's a free kick to Switzerland. Ralston's gone down again.
No, that's Billy Gilmour.
Oh, sorry. Ralston just walking off the park, though. In fact,
it must be Gilmour for McLean, and then
was Ralston going to get some sort of energy drink that's down at the side of the pitch?
He's going to need more than an energy drink.
I'd say so, yeah. Yeah, Gilmour off. Gilmour's gone off, and McLean is going to come on in the heart of the Scotland midfield with 11 to play, plus added on time. As Scotland look to try and retain a bit of composure and control in the middle of the park there. He's just thrown a
carb gel. He's been given a carb gel.
Again, he's more than a carb gel.
Well, he's just been beaten there by Ndoye rather easily. Ndoye still has it left-hand side for Switzerland, midway inside the Scotland half. He's gone back the way to Rodriguez, and now Akanji inside his own half. But Tomley's still getting forward and good energy, but Switzerland have played round that Scotland press into Sierro, back to Rodriguez. But they've had to go back about 15-20 yards inside their own half. Rodriguez gets it back out to the left-hand side to Ebisher. Ebisher on the halfway line, looking for options. Again, he goes back to Akanji. One apiece with just over 10 to play. Akanji just taking his time, waiting for a decent option to arise, and he picks a great pass for Reader. Reader now coming forward up towards the edge of the penalty area. Looks for Mbolo, who just clipped the Scotland defender Grant Hanley there, and well, it's going to be roll behind for a goal kick anyway. It's either a goal kick or a free kick. Either way, it's in Scotland's favour. And so with 10 left, it's anyone's game, this one.
It is, but I mean, if you're wanting to go and win the game, you know, I'm thinking about more attacking substitutions. You've got other strikers on the bench. Adams has put a shift in tonight. He's not really had that much sniffs of the opposition goal. 10 minutes to go. I'd be looking in the forward department.
Goal kick taken by Angus Gunn. Into the Switzerland half it goes, flicked on by McTominay. Adams can't make anything of it. It's Xhaka tries to play it down the left-hand side for Ndoye, who managed to get a touch on it before Hendry, but only finding Hanley. Then Adams, a good touch infield from McTominay, just plays it behind McGinn. McGinn's taking good control, thought about the shot, and then just lowers it out to the left-hand side to Robertson. There's McTominay, just gets a glancing header on it. Back infield for Ralston, then blocked from McTominay. McTominay still trying to get it goalwards. Now Adams trying to get turned inside the penalty area, just can't quite do it. Back out to Hendry. Hendry will play it back into the box. It's over every Scotland player and headed away by Vidmar as Robertson goes to gather it, keeps it in play. McKenna infield to McGregor, back to Hanley. That was another really good opportunity for Scotland, and it just couldn't quite sit for McTominay as his initial effort was blocked. It's better from Scotland again. Here's McKenna out to the left-hand side for Robertson. Back with McKenna inside the Swiss half still. It goes all the way back to Angus Gunn though. There is a potential penalty check. I wonder if it was for a handball, potentially blocking that initial McTominay effort. That was my instinct, but I think you thought that.
Yeah,
I wondered if it hit one of our players.
Yeah, I thought at the time it looked. I feel as if plays maybe went on a bit long now. I know they would.
Yeah, checks over. Mbolo's in behind. I think he's offside, but he's still going. Mbolo's scored. Now then, the flag goes up, and Scotland will wait and see what the VAR decision is. Mbolo wheels away. The Swiss celebrate, but the flag has gone up, and will VAR come to Scotland's rescue for a second time in a game?
Pretty certain Ali was offside at first viewing. I hope he's offside. He looks as if he's just gone a fraction too early. I mean, the pictures that we're seeing, it's not quite clear cut across the line.
Off for me. Again, it's very tight, and probably more concerning is the ease in which he got through the two players that were there.
Yeah, the referee has signalled it is offside, and the Scotland fans and players and everyone associated with the national team breathe another sigh of relief. And at the other end, the penalty claim comes to nothing. So it remains on a knife edge with 7.5 to play. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1.
That is a knife edge, isn't it? You can feel the tension inside the stadium. You hear every single Scotland fan to their left in their feet, just watching with anticipation. But I would need to agree with Tomo. I think Steve Clarke could make one more roll of the dice and at least get a bit more of an attacking force on. Shea Adams has put an awful lot into the game as well. Tony Ralston, as we've identified over in that right hand side, that could even be for me a James Forrest that could go in there just now and do that job and maybe just give you something else going forward that could be the difference.
Here comes Switzerland, left-hand side. It's Ndoye up against Ralston, who remains on the park, and he's beaten him easily. Ndoye cuts it back. McGregor away, only as far as Xhaka, left-hand side. Looking for options. Oh, he's tried to pick out Ndoye, and he's overhit it, and it's behind for a goal kick. Much to the delight of the Tartan Army, but that was a good position for Switzerland, and Xhaka got it all wrong.
Yeah, it was brilliant play from him, getting to the byline, cutting it back. He didn't pick out one of his teammates. Thankfully, Callum McGregor was there for us to clear. We're going to look at this penalty, claiming it hits the face of
Rodriguez, isn't it? I think maybe it comes off of as well. Sierra is actually, and his arm is tucked in by his body. It does come off the back of his arm, but certainly the t-shirt line. But for me, his arm's definitely tucked in.
Another couple of Swiss changes are imminent, but the ball's still in play, and Switzerland do have it as a foul there against Shea Adams. There's not a lot in that, and I think they're also claiming, Ebisher's claiming it should be a booking as Shea Adams booted it away, but I mean the whistle went a fraction of a second before he kicked it. So play resumes with the free kick. Guns come all the way out his goal, and he's done well. He just launches it over the halfway line, and McGinn just glances it on. He couldn't bring it under control, and it's Scher now picking up right hand side, just knocks it down that right touchline. Reader won't get onto it before McKenna, who plays it back to Angus Gunn. Just has to make sure here, no slipping, and he knocks it up towards the halfway line, flicked on by Ralston. Adams picks up. Adams is just clipped there by Rodriguez. He goes down, but Scotland still have the ball, so play will continue. Ralston back to McLean, just inside his own half. 5 minutes left in the 90. Scotland 1, Switzerland 1. Adams is caught again there in the middle part. This time the free kick will be given, and Sierra will find himself in the referee's notebook as Shea Adams stays down. Another player who's put a lot into the game as these changes come. It's going to be Amdouni, so that's an attacking change for Ndoye. And the other player coming on is Stergiou. He will probably replace Vidmar, indeed he does. That's a right wing back straight swap. So Amdouni of Burnley coming on up front as well to get right up there alongside Mbolo. Switzerland clearly think they can win this in the closing minutes. Scotland haven't been quite as adventurous. Looks like they are sticking rather than twisting at this stage, Stephen.
Yeah, I would say so. I think obviously a one each draw is a fantastic result. It takes us into the Hungary game, and he feels that there's no point in throwing everything at this in case we get done in the counter, but
Scotland have it.
Sorry, Al.
Yeah, midway inside the Switzerland half. McGinn into the penalty area. Gladstone out to the right-hand side for Ralston. Ralston back to McLean. Angle of the box, onto the left foot. Goes for goal. Adams leaves it. It's right into the arms of Jan Sommer. He didn't really catch it, Kenny McLean, from a decent position. And it remains Scotland 1, Switzerland 1. Leanne Crichton.
Yeah, I was just going to say, my concern is, though, that whether you decide and it's that old stick or twist, is that you try and stick, and all of a sudden the Swiss have got a bit more energy than you, and that you leave a couple of tired bodies in that pitch, that as the time and the clock starts to tick down.
Here's Xhaka feeding it forward for Amdouni, and covering was Andy Robertson. Just plays it back to Angus Gunn. Good defending from the Scotland captain. One apiece with 3 minutes left of the 90. McGregor picks up, left-hand side is Robertson, slides it forward for McGinn. Was he fouled? No, not by Scher, says the referee, as Robertson though makes a good challenge on Scher, and momentarily Scotland have it back, but Switzerland have it once more. Scotland need to retain possession a bit better just at the moment. Why he's not replaced a couple of these players are out on their feet,
absolutely
beyond me.
And this is where the Swiss have made more changes. They've got more fresh legs out there. They're chasing the win. They know if they go and get 3 points tonight, it's virtually done and dusted. They're through. They'll progress.
Christie's coming.
Yeah, Ryan Christie's just been told by James Morrison to get stripped. Here's Shanklin coming as well, so he is going to make the changes, Steve Clark, in the last couple of minutes plus added on time. Can Scotland at least see it out for a 1-1 draw, or could they somehow grab a winner, which would put them in a brilliant position in the group? It would take them up to second with one game to play against Hungary, who are on rock bottom with 0 points. Angus Gunn knocks it down the right-hand side. Flicked on by Ralston. Back to Swiss possession. Oh, it's Akanji about 20 yards inside his own half. A point is certainly a good one for Switzerland as well, albeit maybe they feel they can win the group. If they win tonight, they could go into that Germany game and maybe, why not, feel that they could beat the hosts, as Robertson knocks it down the left-hand side. Still in Scotland's half, and then Robertson has taken Stersview out of the game there. That is a crude challenge, to say the least.
The referee's given some bookings today that have not been bookings.
No, exactly.
That may well have been a challenge at the
an easy one for him. Just a wild swipe at the ball, Andy Robertson. He tries to go with his left foot as well. I actually think if he maybe just opened up and tried to go with the right, he would have had a bit more control over it. But it's a dangerous area, one that Scotland need to defend.
Just over a minute of the 90 left. A free kick about 35 yards from the goal line out to the right-hand side, but certainly a good crossing opportunity as Reader stands over the ball. Kanji giving him a few words of advice before he sends this one in. Reader, the left-footed player from the right-hand side, will just try and swing this one in towards Angus Gunn's goal. Nervy moments here for Scotland as Reader curls it in towards the back post. They win, the header is wide. Oh, that was a massive opportunity there for Amdouni arriving at the back post. He won the header cleanly and he sent the header wide.
Wow.
It's a proper sitter, this one. I think he might have been off, Jink.
I think he's on. I think Mbolo's off, but the delivery is exceptional, by the way.
Into the back post. It's such a good ball. He's 6 yards out. He's really got to hit the target.
Here come the Scotland changes. Adams making way for Shankland. Adams has put in a power of work. John McGinn also making his way off to be replaced by Ryan Christie. And somehow Anthony Ralston looks like he's going to play the full game here, despite having had cramp for the last 20 minutes. But he's stuck to his job, you'd have to say, as difficult as it's been. Four minutes added on, was that?
Yeah, 4 minutes on the clock out. A big 4 minutes, because we said it at the start of the game, we would take it, a score draw, it would keep us going until the third game with the all to play against Hungary. But a big 4 minutes. We know how these games can play out.
There's Shankland getting his first touch, gets his head to it. Akanji heads it clear of his own penalty area. Christie picks up and plays it back to Robertson. Robertson midway inside the Swiss half, sends it towards the back post. It's over McTominay. Ralston's up in a good position, very attacking. He's got the ball under control, tries to get the beating of Ebisher, can't get a decent cross in though, headed away by Xhaka, picked up by McLean for Christie, inside the box, sends it back to McGregor, 25 yards from goal, sends it to the back post, Robertson across goal, Akanji gets the clearance from inside his 6-yard box, high in the air, still it's not properly clear, McGregor over the bar from 20 yards, Switzerland survives, Scotland won, Switzerland won.
That's a good period of play from Scotland. Lovely ball over the top. Callum McGregor searching for Andy Robertson. He does everything right. Just heads the ball back across the 6-yard box.
Great defended
well. Really good defending. Good. That just shows you top level players. With almost sensing danger, just reading it.
Yeah,
reads it so well. And then Callum McGregor, the ball's dropping out there, 20 yards out. He goes to take the hit on, but he gets it all wrong over the bar. But still, it eats into the time. It slows the game down. It keeps Scotland in the front foot as well.
90 seconds of injury time have been played as Akanji lofts it forward, headed on by Sierro. Away again by the Scotland defence. Sierro tries to flick it back on. McGregor's in there, and then McLean will just turn that all the way back to Angus Gunn. Takes a touch just outside his box, and Bolo goes to close him down, and Gunn sends it out of play in the far side, more or less on the halfway line. 2 minutes left of added on time. Scotland won, Switzerland won. You listen to Sports Sound from the Cologne Stadium, BBC Radio Scotland, on all our frequencies and on BBC Sounds, as the ball was played back to Jan Sommer. We'll be recording another of the football podcasts after this one. Tune in for that on Sounds. Subscribe and you won't miss a thing as we bring you all the action from the Euros. It's back with Sommer once more. Looks like Switzerland are pretty content. They're not going to risk losing this one. They're quite happy to play it about at the back as Akanji has it just outside his penalty area. Chips it forward out to the left-hand side. Rodriguez back to Akanji once more. Almost looks like they're settling for the point, which would as good as take them through, but forward they come now. It's Scher playing it on, it's flicked on, and Bolo will chase that. Out comes Gunn and dives and smothers the ball, and it's under the control of the Scotland goalkeeper as we approach the final minute. The Tartan Army want Scotland to get forward. They want them to go for a winner. as Gunn powers it over the halfway line. Shanklin up against Rodriguez, gets the flick on, but Akanji's there. Might break back to Shanklin, it does, midway inside the Swiss half. Now it's McLean, out to the left-hand side. Robertson down the left-hand side, just shows too much of it to his marker, who is Stergiou, who just knocks it out of play. Scotland throwing midway inside the Swiss half with just seconds left of the game. One apiece it stands. In a cliffhanger here in the Cologne Stadium. Is there a final burst of glory for this Scotland side? Robertson plays it back to McKenna. On the halfway line is Hanley. Back to McKenna once more, just inside the Switzerland half. Looks up, plays it out to the right for Tony Ralston, just outside the box. Can he pick out a Scotland teammate? Christie goes up to challenge. It'll break back for McLean. McLean couldn't bring it under control with the first touch. Tries to play it out to Robertson. It will eventually come to Robertson. Down for Christie. Christie looked like he might have handled it there, but it comes to Robertson. Robertson swings it in, away by Scher from inside the box. Switzerland trying to get it clear. Won't quite sit for them. Again, they hack it forward, and Bolo will try and win it. There's a full-time whistle. Well, it's a good point in the end. You cannot sniff at a point against a team as good as Switzerland. And the main thing is, Scotland are alive in Euro 2024. A battling performance, a much improved performance from the Scots. They couldn't quite hold on for the victory, but boy did they improve. And they made life really difficult for the Swiss at times. And only Grant Hanley being denied by the upright in the second half has denied them a precious 3 points here in Cologne. But, as I say, they are still in the game, still in the Euros as we enter the third game on Sunday against Hungary in Stuttgart. It will be all to play for. Scott McTominay, the Scots scorer, inside 13 minutes tonight. A fabulous goal to get the Scots on their way. It took a big deflection off Fabian Scher, but it was enough to beat Jan Sommer. And then Switzerland came back into Anthony Ralston with a misplaced pass, setting up Xherdan Shaqiri for an absolute wonder strike, you'd have to say, into the top corner beyond Angus Gunn. Chances at either end beyond that. Gunn made a good save to deny Ndoye. Switzerland had a couple chopped off for offside, and Ndoye was one, and Mbolo the other. And Ndoye should have scored when he got the better of Kieran Tierney, but he dragged the shot wide as Tierney was forced off, and it looks like his Euros are over as a result of a hamstring injury. Then came the Hanley header. McTominay had a volley blocked as it looked en route to goal, and then Amdouni headed wide late on as either side could have won it, but neither side could in the end. And so it finishes in the Cologne Stadium after a battle royale. Scotland won, Switzerland won.
Scotland versus Switzerland. Sports Sound, live from Cologne.
And that could be monumental.
Bringing UEFA Euro 2024 home.
Listen on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland, live from Cologne. My goodness, what drama inside this stadium this evening. Scotland won, Switzerland won. We're still alive at Euro 2024. The mass of Scotland fans behind the goal to our left, they are celebrating with the Scotland players. They gave it their all this evening. A much improved performance from what we saw in Munich on Friday evening. Steve Clarke down there as well. The players did really well. We'll hear shortly from the Scotland striker Lyndon Dykes. He's just getting his headphone on now. Lyndon, tell us what you thought about that. What an atmosphere in here tonight.
I mean, what a game that was. I think it had a bit of everything. I think it was good attacking from the boys, good defending, a little bit of luck with VAR on our side, a little bit of luck for them hitting the post from Hanley. But yeah, I mean, what a game. It was just end to end, just carnage. I think both teams didn't want to lose in the end, but I tell you what, I was up here stressing. It was tough to watch, I tell you what.
And you know what? That performance tonight, that gives us hope again, Linda, doesn't it? Against Hungary. Let's go there and get the 3 points.
Yeah, definitely. I think the boys should be happy. That was a great performance, you know. Showing everyone the quality we have. We had a bit of everything tonight. We've shown we believed. Against a great team in the Swiss. They've qualified back-to-back years tournaments for the last 16, and it just showed how good we were. We could have easily won that tonight, so we have to make sure we take all that confidence into the last game, and and then, yeah, bring on the next one.
Fantastic. Lyndon, thanks very much indeed for joining us in Sports Sound tonight. Absolutely fantastic. Have you enjoyed it?
Cheers, guys. Yeah, loved it. Cheers.
Fantastic. Thanks, Lyndon Dykes there, Scotland striker. Great analysis from him on the programme tonight. Live Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. We'll get the thoughts now of Willie Miller. He's been watching the game back in the Aberdeen studio. What did you make of it, Willie?
I thought it was a brilliant evening of football, to be perfectly honest. You know, maybe it wasn't the slickest game that you're ever going to see, but you had two teams out there going at it hammer and tongs, football end to end. You know, close calls in terms of the two VAR decisions, you know, that went in our favour. Grant Hanley, you know, coming up and striking the post with that fantastic header. Amdouni missing the biggest chance that he'll ever going to be presented with, and watching it again, didn't look offside. And Doy, the one where Tierney goes down, I think that's a magnificent save from
I said that in commentary, Willie. I think he gets a wee touch. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, and they gave, and it's ending up in the back of the net if he doesn't get a touch on it, Stephen, as well, because it's on target, and they give the goal kick for it. No, just brilliant. I think it's fantastic for the players first and foremost. Steve Clarke as well, getting back a bit of pride, because it must have been hurting after the Germany game, and you know, they did say that they were hurting. They did say that they were going to turn it round and give the fans something to shout and sing about, and I think the Scotland fans, the players, the manager can go away for that game knowing that they were almost equal with a very, very good Swiss side. I think the Swiss just maybe edged it, and I've probably been a little bit hard on my own nation, but looking at the chances that I've noted down, they certainly had the better opportunities, you know, in the two VAR decisions as well. But take nothing away from the performance that the Scots put in. You know, it was wholehearted. It was a performance with pride stamped all over it as well. They had to get their pride back after that performance against Germany. We all knew, and we do know, that they're better than what how they performed against the host nation, and they showed that tonight. And they go into the third game with a real chance of qualifying, real chance of making history and getting themselves out of the group stages. So I think well done to everybody. Steve Clarke looked very happy at the end of and it's not easy for Steve to look happy. He actually had a fist bump as well. So that tells me that he was proud of that performance. I think he'll come out and say that after the game, and by the sounds of it, just with the headphones and watching the fans and kind of trying to soak up what the atmosphere must have been like, it looked an absolutely fantastic night, both from an atmospheric point of view and also a football point of view. So I'm a little bit jealous of you guys, but well done. I enjoyed the commentary too.
Fantastic. Well, in the stats back up your analysis there. Scotland 10 attempts, 3 on target, 11 attempts for the Swiss and 4 on targets. 53% possession for the Swiss, 47 for Scotland. We will hear from Steve Clarke. Let's now hear from the Scotland captain, Andy Robertson, who's been speaking with Ailey Barber.
Andy, listen to the noise in here. You wanted to make a nation proud again, and I think you can tell you've done that. It must feel a lot better standing here tonight.
More like us, much more like us. Aggressive on the front foot, can get off to a better start, and then obviously we make a mistake, but let's make no mistake about it, Tony Ralston was unbelievable after that mistake. Not many people could come back from that. You know, it was a difficult one for him, but second half he was different class, and fair play to him to recover from that. And then we had our chances, but so did they. It was an open game, two really good teams going at it, but that was a lot more like us. We're a lot more happy with that performance. We probably could have scored maybe, but I'm sure they would say the same thing. So look, we'll take the draw, and we've took it into the last game. That's all we can ask.
We've heard the word resilience used a lot over these last few days. How much of it did you need to put out a performance like that?
Yeah, of course, and it was just about, like I said in the press conference yesterday, getting back to being us. And I thought that was a lot more like us. I think you can tell by the people behind the goal there, I think they were a lot happier with what they've seen on the pitch. And honestly, we've left absolutely everything out there today, and that's what it takes to play for your country. So we need to rest, we need to recover, we need to go against Sunday, because that's a massive game for us now, and we played a really good team today, and we'll face another really good team again on Sunday.
And history is still right there for you. It goes to the last game to try and get yourselves out of this group stage. You can take a lot from tonight into that, I'm sure, but like you say, it'll be a lot of rest and recovery as well.
yeah, we can take a lot of positives from tonight, but we can also tweak a little thing and improve even more, and that's the good thing. So hopefully you see that on Sunday, but like you said, we need to get to our beds now, I think, and recover, take tomorrow, really recover properly, and then what day are we even on? Wednesday, so and then Friday we need to really be ready to go on the training pitch, and then come Sunday we'll be good to go with the backing that we've got.
Scotland captain Andy Robertson there. We will hear from the Scotland manager Steve Clarke. The fans just making their way out of the stadium here. The atmosphere has been absolutely terrific, electric. As Stephen Thompson said, what an arena for football here. We are high above the pitch here, behind the dugouts. The players just saying their final goodbye. Just Lawrence Shankland coming out down below us, probably just for a wee warm down. He just got a couple of minutes at the end of the game there, Liam. But it's been a real privilege, hasn't it, to be here. The tension, the atmosphere inside the stadium tonight has been absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. It's been absolutely brilliant. The Tartan Army and their numbers have been outstanding. Every single person that's come to the stadium, credit to the Swiss as well. Fans are still filtering out of the stadium as well. I'm sure Cologne will have a huge party tonight regardless. I think both sets of fans will probably come together and right into the early hours, I would expect, because the Swiss are in a strong position in the group. Scotland have kept things alive until the final game, which is, you know, effectively that's exactly where we wanted to be. We didn't expect to be sitting in any more probably than the 1 point just now at this stage after 2 games played. We always knew that Hungary would be the benchmark in the group for the 3 points, and we've still got an opportunity to go and do that, but I think it's going to take an awful lot to recover some of those bodies tonight. Looking at them, I felt, you know, they were tired in the Germany game. It took an awful lot out their legs. Psychologically as well, it would have drained a hell of a lot from them. And then tonight they've put an absolute shift in, and there was a few boys that probably played more minutes than I would have expected them. Tony Ralston being one of them. John McGinn looked absolutely out on his feet when he left the pitch as well. Shea Adams put an awful lot into the game. Defensively, there's just so much focus and concentration expected. Scott McTominay, another one, he's not played an awful lot of minutes of late, and he's went on and played 290 minutes now. So yeah, a lot of recovery required. I'm sure the Tartan Army will be there again on Sunday and will look to go again.
Yeah, full coverage, of course, on Sportsound, as you'd expect. Also, as you'd expect, Stephen, really supportive words there from the captain, Andy Robertson. We've spoken a lot about Anthony Ralston on this programme. You feel now that despite these words from the captain, a big decision for the manager to make ahead of Sunday?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, obviously the error is a glaring one for the Swiss goal. I didn't feel he looked all that comfortable out there this evening, and he really was struggling. I was so surprised to see him not coming off when he was taking cramp from about 60 minutes onwards, but he got brought on a carb gel. It seemed to do the trick, and he maybe found a wee bit more energy come the end of the game.
As this trip goes on,
oh,
Stephen.
Exactly.
Couple of carb gels will keep us going, will it?
I tell you what, we need more than that. But he,
no wonder you're laughing, Willie.
He showed a lot. He showed a lot of character, and I think that's the word you would use for tonight's performance, is character, because you know the players have been criticised, and rightly so, for the performance against Germany, and they had to come out today and they wore their heart on their sleeves, and that's, you can't ask for any more than that. They showed at times during the game really good bits of quality as well. We created some chances, we defended at times very well also, so there's so much to feel positive about from this game moving into the final game, and it was so important that we got that point from this evening's game, because the Hungary game is, without a shadow of a doubt, the game we can go and win in this group, and we've put ourselves in a wonderful position, and it was a performance that we've been waiting on. Yeah, we've been waiting on that level of performance for a while. It wasn't perfect, and Andy said that himself. There are still a couple of things they can tweak to improve, and it wasn't our best performance, but it was a good, solid performance, and it was exactly what was required tonight. So I'm really pleased for the boys and for Steve Clarke.
Yeah, as we said at the start of the programme, Willie, that's the frustrating thing. We know this performance is in this team. We've seen it in qualifying, and it wasn't all there tonight. But my goodness, even at the end, absolutely pushing for the winner.
No, and I do think they can get better. I mean, they've proven that they can play better than that. But you know, after the defeat and the manner of the defeat against Germany, then it takes a lot to drag yourself out of the mire and put in a performance like tonight with the energy that they expended. And you know, Anthony Ralston, he was done, he was out on his feet. I mean, he couldn't adjust his feet at times. His brain was actually working okay, but his legs were going in a different direction for what his brain was telling him to go. So it was a real tough night for him, but he dug in there. You know, I think that's an example of the kind of attitude that the team had tonight. It wasn't perfect, they can play better than that. There was spells where they dominated possession. I thought in the first half in particular, I think Gilmour and McGregor looked good, although Gilmour ran out of steam. I think Grant Hanley, it's absolutely made for Grant Hanley, that type of game, isn't it, where you just ask him to sit in between the two centre backs and deal with anything that comes into the box. You know, really disappointed obviously for Kieran Tierney. It looked a real sore one, and it looks as though his tournament's over. And I think Angus Gunn as well. I think you've got to give Angus Gunn a bit of credit, you know, maybe taking a little bit of stick for the Germany game. He made a couple of very good saves.
Willie, let me jump in. You've teed it up perfectly. Let's hear live now from Angus Gunn. He's with Jane Lewis.